Hello, 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 my lovely peeps, and welcome to the stream with me, Forte07, and some more Pokemon Emerald. Hooray! Yeah. So good news. If you remember correctly, last week I was trying to get a patch to work done by stream viewer Bofia, barrel of why can't I remember your full name? Barrel of fish in a bucket. And I couldn't get it to work last week. Well, we've sat down and figured it out, and it turns out I couldn't get it to work because I'm incompetent and I didn't realize I was patching a file in a folder that I wasn't using. I had a redundant copy of my setup for this game on my main hard drive of my computer, but everything that I'm running on is actually on a separate drive in storage, and I didn't catch on to it until earlier tonight because, again, I'm incompetent, and I apologize for that. So hopefully it should be fine now. So one of the main fixes we'll see is that I can run inside now. That is nice. There's been a lot of other fixes that were applied to this, just quality of life things. So let's all give him a big thank you. Just for that. In the meantime, though, we are still training. I'm starting to think once we get at least Fipple, Apricity in Bosquet, I never looked up how to say these words. We will attempt Winona. I think 4 Pokemon that are 5 levels above her strongest and have type advantages should work. I mentioned your name in full. Everyone thank Barrel Fish in a Bucket. He's great for helping with quality of life things. And like I said, I am just incompetent and didn't notice I was trying to patch the wrong fucking file. I'm a moron. Why is my book not in the right... Oh, that's right. We are counting rival encounters. And I was like, why is my book not where I left it? Because I moved it and I forgot because I'm a dweeb. Alrighty. The only Pokemon on Winona's team that I'm actually worried about, of course, is the Altaria, just because its dragon typing makes our electric moves not as effective as they should be, and I don't have anything that knows ice moves, and I don't want to resort to using Cast Form. I don't even... What is even the level that Cast Form is that we get? I don't know. We should be okay, I hope. I'm not at all confident in that, as you can tell, but I can dream. Why no. Oh, also, today, it wasn't poking fun at you, it was needed the self-promotion. I see. Also, happy National Cookie Day, something like that. It's a cookie day, according to my calendar, so if you have cookies, go eat them. I think I have cookie dough in the fridge. I could probably make cookies up after this, and I might. Right now I have a hot chocolate and some Maltesers, though. Just chocolate. But I was looking up her team. Yeah, I'm just a little bit worried about that Altaria. I don't want to sound like a downer, but I feel like we're gonna lose at least one team member in this gym fight, just because we are. We did it against Norman, but that's also because I went overboard with X attacks. I'm pretty sure Altaria will knock us out before we can get around to abusing X attacks, because the Altaria also knows Earthquake, so that... Oh, shit. Earthquake. Fuck. fuck, she has earthquake. Oh no. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Earthquake. That means all my electric types. Wait. Wait, does Magneton have... Does it have... Is Levitate a thing in this? My stream just cut out for a minute there, so I apologize for not having heard any replies. Oh, I said I understood. I see what you were saying about just selfless. I mean, needless self-promotion. I'm just freaking out because I realized Winona's Altaria knows. Earthquake. No, he has Sturdy, which might protect me against Earthquake. Might. Should I go get Cast Form? What level is Cast Form at? What level do you get Cast Form at in this game? I don't fucking remember. I never used Cast Form because it's Cast Form. Goddamn chick. No, I know Levitate is an ability, but it's just a matter on if Magneton has it at this point. Or can he have Levitate 25? 25? I want to use Cast Form only with 25. And you only have powdered snow. I mean, that's better than nothing. If we use Cast Form, it's just gonna die. And then we're gonna be here for like another forever just to level it up to a point where I think it maybe might not die, but it probably will die because... balls. Of course, if I put Magneton out there against the Earthquake, it is 4 times weak to that, so that's always... fuck! Just setting up Cast Form to even be useful would be a pain in the ass too, because I'd have to spend a whole turn setting up Hail. I mean, I would preferably want it in Ice Form, just because then if it's an Ice Form Cast Form, it gets stabbed from Powder Snow, right? I'm assuming? I don't fucking remember. I never use Cast Form! It's a gimmick Pokemon! It's like Minun! But I guess I can't really pick on Minun because it got me through fucking Watson. We shouldn't be here. That's all I'm gonna say. We shouldn't still be here, but we are. Because Pokemon Nuzlocke gods want me to suffer. I mean, it's a Nuzlocke, so I guess they do anyway, but they want me to suffer even more. This hot chocolate is hot. No shit. Yeah, I know. I made it up literally before I sat down, so it's still a bit too hot. And I have this nasty habit of drinking hot chocolate too fast, where I both scald my tongue and then give myself a headache because I drink something hot too fast. Couldn't tell off the top of my head, never used Cast Form either. It was one of those Pokemon that you just grabbed and you left and you stopped thinking about it. And it was just the game is like, remember we have weather effects. Look at the weather effects. Look at this Pokemon that utilizes the weather effects. Yay! And it's like, I don't care. I'm just going to assume it gets stabbed when it's in ice mode. Italics indicate a move that gets stabbed only when used by an evolution or alternate form of Cast Form. So yeah, it would technically get stabbed for Powder Snow when in Ice Form. again, that's a whole turn of setting up Hail, hoping it doesn't die, but that also means I would want to get it up 15 levels to not die instantly when we go in there, because I'm not going in there with a level 25 cast form. It'll just be a smear on the wall. Ugh. I mean, we're not using Machoke in the next... Cast form. Hello, Zim Zam Zoom. Oh, that's a fun name. I think I watched a challenge video that was like, can you beat all of Ruby or Sapphire, Emerald, I don't remember which game they were playing, with just a cast form. But they were allowed to die and heal and all that shit. I'm not allowed to do any of that. If I die, my Pokemon is dead. It is deaded. No do-overs. Wait, what do you have? Mystic Water. Okay, well, sorry. I need your experience share. We're just gonna put it on you for now. How do you do, buckaroo? I'm okay. I'm awake. I slept in really late today, and I wasn't even up all that late last night. It's just, I don't know, I'm really tired right now. I think it's just finally starting to set in that I have the next few weeks just at the house. What I mean is, my convention season for the year is over, so I'm not going to be out any of the upcoming weekends for stuff like that. So no large travel plans except for maybe holiday things, and at the moment I don't know if we have anything set for the holidays when it comes to family. Because a lot of my family is out of town for work or something like that. I'm doing okay. I was also a little tired, well, more tired than normal because I had a few people stop by this morning for things. I had a cat tree that I finally sold. I bought it for my cat forever ago. It's one of those 4-level cat trees. But she's an older cat that doesn't like to jump up on things. The highest she'll go is a bed, a couch maybe, right? So she never used the 2 upper levels of the tree, and I would just use it to put shit on. And it's like, I'd rather just go out and get her a smaller tree that she would use, though she has plenty of places that she likes to lay on now. Or in now. That I don't know if I'd be getting it for her anytime soon, but the lady who bought that came to pick it up this morning. And then they were doing some maintenance in everyone's apartments, mainly like changing the furnace filters and shit like that. So they came and were gone within 5 minutes, but that just also required me to kind of be up and awake while they were just doing the simple maintenance around the apartment. And I am not a morning person, so having to get up before noon, I know that sounds really bad, is hard for me. But that's, again, what happens when you work from home and you make your own hours. Your sleep schedule sucks. Yeah, I can't complain. I mean, it's cold outside, and I don't like it when it's cold, but I don't have to go outside, so it's no big deal. I mean, I have to go out eventually. I need to go get, like, more paper towels or something and spaghetti noodles for tomorrow night, because I'm having spaghetti for dinner tomorrow. Cats will sleep on anything. One of my cats slept on an open toolbox. I don't know, my kitty's a little picky. She doesn't like sleeping on top of blankets and stuff like that. That and she has a spot on the couch that she's perfectly content with. It is her spot. And I get mad at my mom because every time she tries to move my cat, it's like, you can't move her. That is her spot. Stop moving her. Do we not have any more antidotes? I don't think we do. No? Okay. Excuse me while we don't die. You're high enough that you're not gonna die. I remember a high school friend that was a morning person. We all got fed up with how peppy it was at the start of school. I had a friend like that too. Her last name, incidentally, was also a friend, which I thought was funny. I don't know. But she was always really awake and happy in the mornings. And every morning, you know, she'd come up and be like, "Hey Phil, how are you doing? How are you feeling this morning?" It's like, I'm good. Please stop asking me questions. It is 6 in the morning and I am not yet awake. I beg of you, please stop talking to me for a little bit. And she knew I wasn't a morning person, but she would do this every damn day, like she forgot. And it's like, ah! It's not that I don't want to talk to you, I just don't want to talk to you this early in the morning when I'm still half asleep. My mom used to get mad at me because she would wake me up for school. I would get up, get dressed, maybe eat breakfast, maybe. I don't usually eat right away when I get up. But then I'd fall asleep on the couch. There's also times she would find me asleep, like if I bothered to take a shower first thing in the morning. I normally take showers at night, but if I forgot the night before and I had to do it in the morning, she would come in there and find me sitting on the shower floor just sleeping in there. She's like, "Are you really sleeping in the shower?" I'm like, "What?" I have no patience early in the morning. Yeah, me neither. I had this one girl in high school. She told me right before we graduated, she's like, "I was always scared of you because you always looked like you're going to kill me." It's like, what? She's like, "Yeah, you always looked angry." It's like, no, I was always tired. All of the time. My tired face looks like my angry face, but I wasn't. It was more like I couldn't care less and would prefer if you just stopped talking to me. Like, just give me a while to wake up. But no one gave me a while to wake up, and then that would, I guess, translate into me just being a bit agitated when I was fully awake later on in the day. Oh, thank you for the follow, Zoom. Your name is very fun to say. It's like Zigazoon. I felt bad though when I was in college because of my aversions to morning. I had an 8 o'clock illustration class, first thing of the day. And I would get up, I would drive down to school because I commuted all 4 years I was in college, and I would go to that class. And I'd get there a little bit early, and I would sit down at one of the drawing horses and lean against one of the drawing boards, and I would just doze off. And I felt so bad because I would stay asleep until the teacher started taking like attendance. And there's this girl that always sat next to me, so she would occasionally have to poke me awake, like, "Hey, she called your name." I'm like, what, I'm here, I promise. And we did like a, I don't remember if it was like a midterm checkup or if she just talked to you like near the end of the year, like regarding like your work and stuff through that semester. And she's like, "Oh, I always thought you didn't like my class because you always fell asleep when you came in here." I was like, "Oh no, it's not that, I promise." It's like, I don't do mornings very well, and I'm always really tired when I come in. That, and I don't go to bed very early, and that never helps, but I work better at night. But I was also actually quite afraid of this teacher because I had other people in my department. So I was in the entertainment arts department because I have a degree in animation. And the class I was taking was more for the illustrative majors, you know. And I had this one guy, he was like, "Oh yeah, she's really strict and she's really picky, especially if she finds out you're an EA because she doesn't think you can draw. She thinks you only know how to draw cartoons. But if you didn't just draw cartoons, if you actually, you know, did the more realistic drawings you're supposed to do in the illustration class, she was totally fine with you, and she generally liked my work." So, I mean, if we look back at it now, it's terrible, but we're not going to look back at that right now. But yeah, I remember just being terrified like the whole semester, but she actually didn't mind me because I didn't just draw cartoons all day. And it's like, I think it was like this misconception she had. She's like, "Oh, if you're in animation, you only draw cartoons. You won't attempt to draw like realistic figures or anything at all." Which isn't the case, because this was an art college, so you had to take figure courses. We're fucking poisons, aren't we? Oh no, we're not. So I just remember being like terrified, and I felt really bad that, you know, she thought I didn't like the class. It's like, that wasn't the case. It's not like I didn't like her or I didn't like the class. I mean, I had to take it. It's figure illustration was always my favorite class, but it's not like I was falling asleep on purpose. I was just falling asleep because I was tired. My favorite class that I took in college actually was human anatomy for the artist or for the illustrator. And if you go to art college of any sort or are going into art period, I would highly recommend, if your school offers a human anatomy for the artist or illustrator class, to take it. It's beneficial to your abilities as an artist to draw things in proper proportion, and then, you know, once you learn how to do it in proper proportion, you can change those proportions to make your, you know, other designs look better. I'm just saying, take anatomy. Of course, I guess it also helped that the teacher is actually, you know, really good at his job, good at he made the subject matter fun, interesting, whatever. That, and he was very open to what medium you use, so he would let me actually, instead of just drawing on paper, I could just draw on my computer if I wanted, as long as I was, you know, doing the figure study stuff. So, you know, that always helps when you're a professor and you're flexible with what you let your students do, as long as, you know, they're getting something out of the lesson. You said that bit about proportions very carefully. What do you mean? Oh, god damn it! Hey there, Forte, it's me, Elliot. I just took a shot at catching this Wingle, but it took off. I came oh so close, too. It spoiled my day. Alright, see you. Thank you, Elliot. Thank you. I appreciate your call. I'm just saying, proportions can be hard, especially if you're not learning them, especially if you're learning them on your own. And it's a pet peeve of mine when people are like, oh, I'm such a good artist, and then you see some of their stuff and their proportions are shit. Like, even if it's like current stuff, it's like, I'm sorry, are you not actually looking at reference to see how this is drawn? There's purposely altering proportions for an artistic reason, and then there's just having bad proportions because you don't know how things work. And it's just a weird pet peeve of mine. It's like, I know I can't be too high and mighty. I'm not the greatest artist on the planet. I'm not claiming to be. I'm just saying, knowing how to draw things proportionally, you know, properly anyway, it's beneficial to you as an artist. Because it is. Proportions. I don't know. I liked my anatomy class, okay? It was fun. I liked learning how to draw bones. There was a point where I was drawing nothing but rib cages. I'm like, yeah, rib cages. These are cool. My favorite bone is the femur. A giant bone, and it's like if you got a hold of one, you could just smack someone with it. I mean, you'd be like a Marowak. Marowak has the best choice in weapons. You get that femur. I'm not gonna keep going on about femurs. It's gonna be even weirder sounding than it already is. So we're gonna put a pin in that. Actually, we're not gonna put a pin in it because we're not coming back to that point. Pokemon. Let's talk about Pokemon. Kecleon. I forgot you can find Kecleons over here. I think I always look for Kecleons over on Route 120. I don't draw, lol, I do music. Music is good. I'm not very good with music myself. I was in band for 7 years. In middle school and high school, and I was okay at it. It's just, I played the flute. I never upgraded to piccolo because I didn't have enough air. I always had trouble with high notes just on the flute anyway. I felt bad. I didn't practice as much as I should have, to be honest, but again, music wasn't my thing. I enjoyed it. I really liked marching band. Because my school is so small. In the fall we did marching band, and in the winter it was concert band. So we did both. It's not like larger schools where they have like separate groups for that, from what I understand. I really liked marching band. I liked the discipline of it. if that makes sense. I don't know really how to explain it. It's not like I'm really into, like, going into the military, and if you do that, that's fine. It's just not really something I do, but, like, I like the level of discipline marching band had. It was similar, but it's not as strict as, say, the military, and I know I shouldn't really be comparing those two things, but I am because they're kind of similar, but not really. I don't know. Marching band was just fun, though. Well, for the most part. When I was section leader, the people in my section just constantly wanted to question my authority, and then they got mad when I gave them laps. It's like, that's what I'm allowed to do if you don't do what you're supposed to do. At least that's how it worked in our marching band. Sorry if I'm slurping your guys' ears. Like I said, I have a hot chocolate. It's cold out, and I like hot chocolates when it's cold. Oh, one more level for you. It's gonna take fucking forever, though, to get cast form up into shape. Ugh. Do artist thing, the disadvantages of being mostly self-taught and have a very particular aversion to perceived perfection. There's nothing wrong necessarily with being self-taught. That's not really what I'm saying. It's like, and not everyone wants to go to school and like have to be forced into, let's say, you know, a specific standard. I get that's annoying. I'm just saying, having a little bit more knowledge and at least consulting with someone that has a bit more knowledge when it comes to proportions is preferable than just eyeballing it. Because you can eyeball it, but at least when I took the class, we learned both bones and muscles. And just knowing how the bones are, you know, situated and how the muscles rest on top of it, I just think it's useful. It's like, I get it, art is a visual medium, but it's like knowing how the things work under the surface of what you're just seeing with your eye, I think just helps a little bit. But it's like, I get wanting to avoid, again, just same think, if you will. Because even though they like to claim there's no such thing as the Cal Art style, there's an obvious pattern you see coming out of designs from students of Cal Arts. But it's like, even when I was in college, it was so annoying because when I applied, I applied when I was in high school, and I was going through a really big anime thing in high school. Not that I actually got over that, but you know, that meant a lot of the stuff I drew was very anime orientated, because I was into that stuff. It captured my interest. And I went into art college around the same time when every time they saw anything anime, they're like, oh, don't draw anime, try drawing something else, blah, 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 blah. You know, that entire just, you can't draw in this particular style. They're not saying that it's lesser than, let's say, Western styles, but it's kind of implied. You sometimes get this, like, just elitist nature when it comes to Western and Eastern styles in animation, at least. And it's obnoxious. I mean, luckily there have been shows nowadays that kind of break that mold. I was actually having a conversation with someone this past weekend that they had to make a PowerPoint showing their teachers, like, just because it looks like it's anime does not mean it's produced in the East, nor does that make it any less valid or any less good than anything produced in the West. So like Avatar, it's like that's made by a Western development team, but it's taking heavy influences from anime, and it's still really successful. No, I'm saying in my sense that I don't draw like other artists do, hence why I say art things, since my skills aren't particularly about that. Oh, I see. I know I've seen some tweets where everyone's like, you don't have to be a good artist if you... It's like, you don't have to go to art school to be a good artist. Like, no one's saying that. It's just, sometimes it's nice to go in and get that... Like, it makes me feel bad as someone that did go to art school. It's like, oh, are you telling me that I wasted all my time and money? It's like, I still value the stuff that I learned there. It's not like I have to use everything that I learned from there, though. It's just a good point of reference, I suppose. But yeah, no, I get kind of annoyed when it comes to like the weird schism between how people view Western animation compared to Eastern animation. Like anime, they're like, oh, all of it looks the same, they all have the same face, they just do the big eye thing. And it's like, I'm sorry, you look at different manga between the different, artists, and they all have their own style. There's slight variances, and if you're good enough, you can tell the difference. Not even, really. It's not a matter of being good enough. If you're more familiar with it, you can tell the difference. And it's like, shut up with this entire same face argument, because a lot of, like, at least nowadays, Western animation falls into, like, the same category of same face. They have very similar attributes. They have the round eyes with the tiny pupils, the roundest faces, usually noodly arms. And I was one of those people that I didn't really care for Adventure Time. It was really big when I was in college, and I just couldn't get into it. And if you're into it, that's fine. It just wasn't for me. But it's like, I got so tired after Adventure Time came out. Everyone had to do the long noodle arm thing. And it's like, and it works in certain cases. It's fine. It's a cute style. I don't mind the style, but it's just when everyone's doing it and you don't see any kind of change up. But I guess it's always kind of been like that. Really, because even like 90s cartoons maybe had a little bit more variance. Because let's say Dexter's Lab compared to Rugrats, granted those are two studios, they had vastly different styles, and you could tell. I mean, shows that are produced by the same people, like Butch Hartman cartoons, are going to have a similar style. Same with like the Powerpuff Girls and Samurai Jack and all that. They used very shaped-based designs because that's just how the creator of those shows were, lean towards and were taught. So it's like, yes, there can be sameness, but there was at least a bit more variance back in the day. I mean, I always get his name wrong, but Gendy Tartakovsky? I'm terrible with it. I'm sorry. It's like, his stuff is very distinct, but at least there's still some stylistic change between the two of them. Well, between most of his shows. Like, you can tell they're by him, but it's not always the same thing. I don't know what I'm getting really on about, but it's just when you have people over here in the States seemingly look down on Eastern animation like it's lesser than Western animation, it just kind of annoys me. Because, like, there's just as many talented people over there as there are here. And it's like, and you guys all do the same thing. You do keyframes / storyboards in-house, and then you outsource everything elsewhere, so shut up. It's not like you're doing everything in one studio. You're still outsourcing because of costs. Blah, 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 blah. Craig McCracken is the other one I'm thinking of. Like, he has his shows also have a very similar style to them. But again, like, even if you look at, say, the Powerpuff Girls compared to, like, Samurai Jack, there's still a difference. And, like, nowadays, I look at, let's say, Gravity Falls and Star versus the Forces of Evil. They feel very samey. It's like, yes, Steven Universe has a slightly different aesthetic to it, but there's still certain features about them that are very similar. And it's like, I get it, that's what appeals to kids nowadays, but you're also not giving them anything else to latch onto. The only other thing you have is anime. And it's just... I don't know. I guess I'm also just mad. I remember a few years ago during the Oscars, it was when Frozen 1 came out. And it went up... Hold on, let me see. What year did Frozen 1 come out? God, I hate looking at Frozen. I didn't like the first Frozen, so having to do anything with the first Frozen just annoys me. It's like... I like Tangle's the better princess movie that came out recently. And Moana. I like Moana way better than Frozen. I just... Frozen. I have issues with Frozen! Okay, let's see. 2013 animated Oscar nominations. That one. So, let's see. Frozen went up against Frankenweenie, Brave... Wait a minute. Nope. It came out in 2013. It would have been in the 2014 Oscars, wouldn't it? Frankenweenie as a movie did not need to be made. I watched the original short, and all Frankenweenie needed to be was the original short. Like, it got so spread thin by the time they did the feature-length movie. It's like, can you not do this? But of course they did it, because money and Tim Burton, and they knew people would buy it. Okay, so Frozen went up against The Croods, The Wind Rises, Despicable Me 2, and Ernest and Celestine? Wait. Okay, I'm thinking of a different Oscar nomination. There was one year that Song of the Sea was nominated. Oh, here it is. It was 2014. What? I do not like how... Okay. So someone has their fucking years wrong somewhere. Frozen was in 2013, so it wasn't against Song of the Sea. But anyway, I remember the year that Song of the Sea was nominated. It went up against Big Hero 6, The Box Trolls, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Song of the Sea, well, that's implied, and The Tale of Princess Kaguya, which is the Studio Ghibli film that year. And it's like they were doing like an inquiry asking the judges like which of these animated films they had actually bothered to watch. Because it's kind of known, it's like an industry, not even a secret, I don't know. The Oscars, when it comes to animation, is kind of a sour point if you talk to most animators, it seems, because the Oscars don't really view, animated films as film. They don't think it's enough. It's the same amount of work as a live-action film. It's like, okay, that's a load of bull. Which is why, actually, the best animated feature... Actually, I don't know if this is fact. This is just what I have heard. This might be hearsay. But what I heard is the best animated feature award only exists so an animated movie cannot win Best Motion Picture of the Year because they already have Best Animated Feature. Beauty and the Beast won it one year, but that was before Best Animated Feature came out, which started in 2001, where Shrek took it. Apparently, that category was just created, like I said, so an animated film could not win Best Motion Picture, because all the live-action people got mad about it. How true this is, I don't know, but I can totally see it from happening, because the judges, most of the time, don't watch the animated films. Because they asked people, in 2004 at least, and maybe in 2013, if they saw the movies. Frozen basically only won it in 2013, most people assume, because that's the only one they bothered to go see, because their kids wanted to go see it. Now, I didn't see Ernest and Celestine. I saw The Wind Rises. I really liked it. Despicable Me 2 was fine. I like Despicable Me 1 better. And then I really like The Croods, at least in terms of art direction. It was really good, and I personally think the story's a bit stronger than Frozen. But again, I don't like Frozen. So it's like that one only kind of really won because they were too lazy to go do their damn job. And then in 2014, during an interview, they're like, oh, I only really saw Big Hero 6 because it was that year's Disney film. I didn't see the other ones. They might have seen How to Train Your Dragon 2, because that was a DreamWorks film. And DreamWorks and Disney are usually up there. But they're like, I didn't see that Asian-made crap Song of the Sea or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. It was a while ago since I saw this article, and that made me really mad, because I saw Song of the Sea, and I really liked it. It's done by the same studio that did The Secret of Kells, and I would recommend both of them. They're very, wonderfully made movies, and they play a lot with shape when it comes to their character design. Lots of variance in terms of design because of that, and it's just, you know, it's fun to look at. The Song of the Sea was cute, and it's like the fact that they're misattributing it to who created it is annoying. It's like, okay, because it doesn't look like Disney, you're assuming it's anime, thus Japanese made. When Song of the Sea and Secret of Kells is made by a production studio that's from Ireland, Belgium, Denmark, places like that. So they do a lot more like Celtic legends or mythologies and stuff in their stories. So it's like, it just got annoying that they only see it in the two lights. Either you have Western American animation or Eastern Japanese animation. There is no in between. And that's just how little they seem to care about the medium. And as someone who is in that medium, I find it incredibly insulting. Again, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. My stream is just listen to me rant for 3 hours about nonsensical stuff that no one else on the planet actually cares about. And everyone probably knows, or, like I said, don't care about. And it's just annoying. It's like, Box Trolls is really good too. When I watch Box Troll, now that's a Leica film, it's done in stop motion, but you watch Box Trolls and some of those sequences, yes, you can still tell it's stop motion in some of them, but some of the other sequences, they're just so smoothly done, so gracefully animated. They feel like they're done in CG, and it boggles the mind, at least mine. When I watch, I'm like, wow, that is amazing, holy shit. And I just sit there in awe. I sound like a complete and total nerd, but this is what I do. Leave me alone. Kidding. But it's just kind of a little annoying when just Disney sweeps every year. Disney Pixar sweeps every year. Because it's probably only due to the fact that the judges only happen to see it because it is a Disney or Pixar movie. They didn't bother to watch the other ones. It's like, you bother to watch everything else on the goddamn list. You've probably seen Revenant 20 times. You think one of those times you could have gone and, you know, watched the animated movie you're supposed to be judging on? No? Okay. I don't know. I don't watch the Oscars anymore because they're dumb. I don't like to watch award shows in general because they're dumb. It's like, I don't need an award on a movie to like it anyway, so shit. It's like the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs films. They really didn't need to exist. They were so far removed from the source material that it's ludicrous for them to even use the name. They were. I mean, I think I only saw the second one once. I liked the first one. It was fun enough. I liked the cartoony squash and stretch animation of it. But yeah, if you compare it to the book, it's very loosely based. There are certain movies when they do adaptations like that, it's like, why did you do this? It was like the most recent Illumination Grinch movie. You didn't need to do that again. That, and they tease you with Baby Grinch during the trailers, and he's in the movie for maybe all of 3 minutes to set up his tragic backstory, which isn't even all that tragic. It's still sad, but it's like you see it so many other places, like, your only build-ups for this movie were Baby Grinch and Benedict Cumberbatch, and this is all we get out of it? Wow. Where's the Jim Carrey version? I like that one better. I know that's a bit of a stretch, but that one was at least a little bit more fun for me. Or just even the original one. You don't need to keep stretching this half-hour short into a feature-length movie. Sometimes, when things are made into shorts, it's because they only can justify the length of a short. Have you seen Kubo and the Two Strings? The stop motion work on that was phenomenal. No, it was. Kubo was really good. Again, that's also by Leica, who did the Box Trolls. Leica is really good, because they also did Coraline. I'm blanking on whatever movies they done. They did Coraline, Kubo and the Two Strings, the Box Trolls. Oh, they did Paranorman, and then Missing Link recently. I saw Missing Link. And they're really good at what they do. The thing is, unfortunately, is I always feel their stories are a little lacking. They have interesting concepts, they do. But certain ones that I saw, like Paranorman was like, eh. Box Trolls was fine. I really did like Box Trolls, though. And Kubo and the Two Strings, I felt could have been a little bit stronger in terms of story. And then Missing Link, that's just kind of how I feel about it. It's fun to watch it in terms of just seeing the artistry put into the stop motion. But in terms of the story, it's like, it could have been better. It's like, yeah, you have Hugh Jackman, but the story's a bit... It leaves a little to be desired. And that's the unfortunate thing I feel when it comes to Laika, is their character design, their artistic design, their set design, just their stop motion prowess in general. It's great. It really, really is. It's just their stories could use a little bit more backbone to them or something. I've just never been able to get into their films fully based just off their story. That and I was actually surprised when it came to Kubo and the Two Strings. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, all the main characters... Now, this is around the time where, you know, inclusivity was becoming really big. Or it still kind of is. But, you know, it was kind of ramping up around that time. And everyone's like, how come you don't have a person of color playing this role, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I get that. But I'm pretty sure, like, most of the main actors in Kubo and the Two Strings aren't even Asian when it's set in, you know, Japan. Yeah, like, even Kubo is voiced by an Irish actor. And it's like, yeah, you have George Takei in there, but he's a side character. And it's just a little silly. It's like, I don't know. I don't usually like to get onto that bandwagon because it starts to get really political and stuff like that, and I know it doesn't fully matter, but at the same time, it's like you're pulling so much from, like, Japanese mythology and symbology here, and yeah, sure, you have George Takei, but he's not even a main character in the film. I don't know if he was like a he was just there as reference or whatever. But still, I was like, I guess what I'm saying is I was surprised that I didn't see more backlash against it because of that reason. I know I saw backlash about the whole sushi scene where people were like, the Japanese treat their food with more respect and they're just throwing their salmon all over the place. What the fuck, Laika? I'm like, I'm sorry, you're getting hung up about that. Okay, whatever. Again, I don't like to get into, like, those kind of discussions because people will just get stuck on some of the stupidest points and not look at the bigger ones. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go, you know, drool over the stop motion though, because that's what I do. Cause I'm not good at stop motion, but I really do appreciate people that are. I'm a little bit sad that, like, well, I guess they still make stuff. I like Aardman stop motion myself. I haven't seen a lot of their recent stuff, but like Chicken Run is one of my all-time favorite movies just because it's funny and it's done really well. I really, really like Chicken Run, and now I want to go watch Chicken Run. It's like I like Aardman stuff. But I also kind of give like a soft pass to people that still do stop motion. It's hard to do stop motion in this day and age, or just traditional animation in general. I mean, granted, you usually have a Studio Ghibli film listed in the Oscars if they have one out that year, and that's usually 2D. But it's like, it's a little bit sad. It's like, let's actually look into these. Let's see, 3D, 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 3D. Curse of the Were-Rabbit was stop motion, so okay. Spirited Away was traditional. So 2001 of the 2018. So of the including 2001, is that 18 years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. So in the 18 years of the best animated feature existing, only twice has it not been a CGI movie that's won. And that's just a bit telling of how the industry is nowadays. And it's not saying that stop motion and traditional animation aren't good, it's just unfortunately they're not as profitable or as appealing even to mainstream audiences, which is very sad. I remember one year a movie called The Illusionist was nominated. It went up against How to Train Your Dragon and Toy Story 3. Wow, slim pickings in 2010. And The Illusionist, it's a fine movie. It's all traditionally animated, which is what I liked about it. I remember actually seeing it up at a film festival in Ottawa when I went up there that year. It's a French-British animated film. And it uses minimal dialogue. It's all basically just character acting. Well, not even character acting. Well, yeah, I guess character acting. So it's like they don't have... There's a word here or there spoken between, like, the characters, but they don't use much dialogue in it. It's very, very visual storytelling heavy. And yes, it's very pretty to watch, and the designs are fun. You can kind of tell it's French. That I'm pretty sure it takes place in France, or at least around France, so it feels very French in general. But it's like the designs, like something about the art style feels a little Art Nouveau-ish, a little bit. I might be pulling that out of my ass. But the director, I think is the director. It's related to the guy who also did the Triplets of Belleville. Now, I haven't actually seen the Triplets of Belleville, so I can't comment on that one too much. But it's like they have a very similar art style to them. I don't think Art Nouveau is what I'm thinking. I'm always bad, actually, when it comes to art styles, which is bad because I'm an artist, and I took design classes and, you know, art history classes. You think I'd fucking remember things better, but I don't. It's because I spent too much time drawing rib cages. Like it's like I'm not mad that it lost the nomination that year. It's one of those visual films that it's good just to watch it once or twice just to look at how pretty it is, but when it comes to story, it's like, it's fine. It's nothing groundbreaking. And again, it went up against Toy Story 3. And even though Toy Story 3 is just a rehashing of Toy Story 2, that one pulled at enough heartstrings that, of course, Toy Story 3 won that year. So I'm not going to be, you know, angry about it. Man, it's almost like these reward shows are rigged and their prominence was marketed into the social conscience rather than artificial significance. Yeah, no, pretty much. That's why, like I said, I don't watch them. It's just like a 3-4 hour big industry pissing contest anyway. A bunch of grandstanding. You just see, you know, a bunch of the 1% grandstanding in front of everyone. It's like, oh, we make movies. Look at us make movies. Talk to us about how great our movies are. Though, in my experience, filmmakers in general, now I guess I'm technically in the realm of filmmaker, but at least when it comes to live action filmmakers, the ones I've been around or I've seen, some of them, I don't know if it's just, it ties into like even like that theater performance attitude. Like, and I admire their confidence. I have like zero confidence. So it's like I totally admire how confident in their abilities there are. But God, you're around some of those people. Oh shit. And they're just so pretentious. And it's like, holy shit. Like a couple nights ago, well, a couple weeks ago, it was on my birthday actually, so it was a couple weeks ago at this point. I went with my sister to the award ceremony for that film competition she did. And this one group won one of their awards. I don't remember which one it was, but like the main actor went up and, you know, to accept their award, and they handed them the microphone in case he wanted to say thanks. And he's like, I just want to say, give thanks to this person and this person. This person's like, oh my God, honey, can you just get back into the audience so we can get this done and over with? This isn't the fucking Oscars. Like, again, I get it. They're proud of their work and they're confident in their abilities. That's fine. But at the same time, it's like, you really think the people, you really think other people here care? This wasn't televised or nothing. You were literally just saying this stuff to the people in the room. most of the people don't know you, and you're only really saying it for the people that you do know that came with you, and they already probably know how you feel. So it's just a lot of grandstanding, and I don't care for it. Oh shit. I just now realized that I just keep using Supersonic because I was reading that as Sonic Boom, and I'm an idiot, and we're not going to get anything done here. We're just gonna leave. I just now realized that we got to level 40 anyway, so I should have switched to Electrode fucking forever ago, but I got into another goddamn rant. Now, I do have to say, when it comes to the nominations for Best Animated Picture, not every year do I see everything either. Especially if it's like a foreign film, sometimes it's hard to get a hold of it. If it's any Disney Pixar film, that's easy. If it's anything made in the States, it's probably going to have a DVD release. If it's a Studio Ghibli movie, there's probably a good chance you're going to be able to see it because it's distributed by Disney. But anything else, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get a hold of it sometimes. But you think the Academy would be able to get a hold of these films, unlike me, where I would probably have to go into seedier areas to watch it. Because they don't always do screenings of those over here, which makes me sad, because I really like watching stuff in the theater. Like, I think I've seen Summer Wars, like, a few different times, but I think I've seen it once in English in the theater, once in Japanese in the theater, and then, of course, I've just seen it on Blu-ray, like, at home and shit like that. But it's like, I don't know. I like seeing animated stuff on the big screen. It makes me happy. Sorry, now I'm just looking over the nominated films, and it just, yeah. Let's see, history. For much of the Academy Award, now this is from Wikipedia, take the information here with a grain of salt, but let's read the history slot for it, shall we? Or at least the beginning of it. Let's see, for much of the Academy Awards history, AMPAS, I don't know what that stands for. Let's see. Is it the group that runs the Oscars? I don't fucking care about the Oscars, so of course I don't fucking know this. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Okay, sure. Was resistant to the idea of a regular Oscar for animated features, considering there were simply too few produced to justify such consideration. Fuck you. I mean, back in the day, sure, it took it still kind of takes fucking forever, but 3D animation streamlines that a little bit more. It still takes a lot of time, but they seem to come out a lot faster. And this might be a hot take, and I might be coming off as weirdly elitist myself saying this, but it's like I almost feel like 3D animation, it's just so easy for people to make it and to get into it, because I'm not saying it's not an art. I'm not saying it's not hard, because it is. I can't animate in 3D worth of shit. I can't wrap my head around it. I've tried, and I just can't. I like being able to just draw the frame and say, look, I drew the frame. Or I can just redraw that frame. Whereas in 3D animation, you take a model, you move the model, you lock the model in place, and you save those keyframes, which can be a big pain in the ass if you need to change, like, a whole fucking frame. This is just me. I'm sure plenty of 3D animators will come in and argue at me. Not that they come in and argue at me anyway or watch my videos, so I guess I'm fine. This is my weird little echo chamber I've made for myself because I'm a small fry. That's fine. Anyway, it's like I almost feel like 3D animations, like it's easier to find people to do it, to get into it, because of that fact. You don't have to draw anything for 3D animation. You're just moving a model. You move a model, you lock the thing into place, etc. Blah blah blah. So it's a bit easier when you don't have to actually have as much artistic talent to draw the frames as you would to just move a 3D model. Again, I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, but I think that's one reason why, like, just, and aside from the fact that visually it's a bit more appealing to the current culture and how we like to look at things. It's just a next step up in terms of visuals, but you can still get some really nice stuff in 2D animation in terms of visuals. I will, again, point to Claws. The lighting in Claws is stupendous. Again, if you have Netflix and Claus is on there, I implore you to go watch it because the lighting is just kind of breathtaking. It is really good. Despite my gripes about it, which are tiny, they are tiny little concerns about it, the animation and the lighting in Claus is really good. Then I'm pretty sure James Baxter works on it, and he has some really, really fluid, nice animation. He did a sequence in Steven Universe recently during the season finale, and it's really distracting because the frame rate and just the quality of it goes so much higher than everything else in the episode, and when it falls back down to the regular episode quality, it's like, what just happened? Did I just have like a stroke? No, they just had a guest animator in for a bit of it. It's like the current Steven Universe future opening, and then some of the fight scenes in the movie were actually done by an animator from Studio Trigger, and I fucking love Studio Trigger. And I fucking feel bad that I don't remember this guy's name. Takafumi Hori was the guest animator, and he's great. But Studio Trigger stuff is great. They're really good at their action sequences. I'm getting off track. What was I talking about? I don't fucking know. I was talking about 3D animation. I'm not saying it's easy, because it can be a pain in the ass, and again, I can't wrap my head around it, so good for the people who can. I probably could wrap my head around it if I sat down and worked on it. I just don't have any desire to, because I'd rather just draw it. But I just feel like that's why, like, 3D movies have taken over, and why there's so many more of them created, even if some of them are absolute shit. But yeah, that's just my view on it. It's like, because people don't have to draw the individual frames, it's easier for people to animate if it's just moving a model. Anyway, I was reading this fucking thing. Instead, the Academy occasionally bestowed special Oscars for exceptional productions, usually for Walt Disney Pictures, such as for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1938, and the Special Achievement Academy Award for the live-action animated hybrid Who Framed Roger Rabbit in 1989, and Toy Story in 1996. In fact, prior to the creation of the award, only one animated film was nominated for Best Picture, 1991's Beauty and the Beast, also by Walt Disney. By 2001, the rise of sustained competitors to Disney in the feature animated film market, such as DreamWorks, founded by former Disney executive Jeffrey Katzenberg, created an increase of film releases of significant annual number enough for the Academy to reconsider. The Academy Award for Best Animated Feature was first given out at the 74th Academy Awards held on March 24, 2002. The Academy included a rule that stated that the award would not be presented in a year in which fewer than 8 eligible films opened in theaters. I about to say, there was one year where they had 3, so shut up. It recently got rid of that rule on April 23rd, 2019 to make voting for animated films more acceptable. Alright, sure. Now, speaking of animated series, have you ever seen Quan Zi Gao Show? Also known as The King's Avatar in English. It's a Chinese show, and I adored the first season's art style. No, I have not. I have not heard of it. But where's my paper? Paper. Soma maps. Where's the piece of paper I kept for notes? I mean, all these are for notes, but oh, it's right here. Okay. Quan Zi Dao Show. I apologize for my pronunciation. I do not know Chinese. The King's Avatar. I have not, but I will check it out. I like animated things. I will make a special exception to see animated things. That's why when everyone's like, oh, you're gonna go see the live action Lion King? It's like, no, I'm not. I mean, technically it's animated, but it's like, I can watch the original. Leave me alone. Forte, this is Bernie. How are your Pokemon? I just lost yet another battle. Well, see you. Thanks, Bernie. Let's see. People in the animation industry and fans expressed hope that the prestige from this award and the resulting boost to the box office would encourage the increased production of animated features. Some members and fans have criticized the award, however, saying it is only intended to prevent animated films from having a chance of winning Best Picture. Yeah. See, like I said, I've heard this as a thing. Don't know if it's true, but it just kind of feels that way. DreamWorks had advertised heavily during the holiday 2001 season for Shrek, but was disappointed when the rumored Best Picture nomination did not materialize, though it was nominated for and ended up winning the inaugural Best Animated Feature award. The criticism of Best Animated Feature was particularly prominent at the 81st Academy Awards, in which WALL-E won the award but was not nominated for Best Picture despite receiving widespread acclaim from critics and audiences alike and being generally considered one of the best films of 2008. This led to controversy over whether the film was deliberately snubbed off by the nomination by the Academy. Film critic Peter Travers commented that if there was ever a time where an animated feature deserved to be nominated for Best Picture, it's WALL-E. However, official Academy Award regulations state that any movie nominated for this category can still be nominated for Best Picture. They just never are. In 2009, when the nominee slots for Best Picture were doubled up to 10, Up was nominated for Best Animated Picture and Best Picture at the 82nd Academy Awards, the first film to do so since the creation of the animated feature category. This feat was repeated the following year by Toy Story 3. Since 2010 onward, with the increasing competitiveness of the animated feature category, Pixar did not receive nominations for several recent films, considering the studio had released films of more mixed critical reaction and box office earnings, while Pixar's sister studio, Disney Animation, won their first 3 awards. In 2010, the Academy enacted a new rule regarding the motion capture technique employed by such films as Robert Zemeckis' A Christmas Carol and Steven Spielberg's The Adventures of Tintin, and how they might not be eligible in this category in the future. This rule is possibly made to prevent nominations of live-action films that rely heavily on motion capture, such as James Cameron's Avatar. That's fair, fine. The story is pretty silly at a base level, comparable to Pokemon, where culture is taken up by a single activity, and the protagonist and his love interest have a very strong likeness to Kirito and Asuna from Sword Art Online. It's distinct enough. Okay. So that makes me just a little bit wary. Now, I've only seen the first season of Sword Art Online. Just because I watched it when it got popular and I wanted to see all the hype was about. And I don't particularly like it. Because first off, it just devolves into romantic bullshit and I came here for them playing RPG game. I guess I wanted more dot hack than I got. Because I like the premise of being stuck in RPGs like that. Or virtual reality. I think that kind of stuff is cool. And then it just devolved into Kirito and Asuna being lovey-dovey together and I wasn't feeling it. That, and I think it kind of perpetuates that negative stereotype that if you're good in games and you're actually a nice guy, in quotations, all these girls will fawn over you and you'll have your pick over girls because you're good at video games. Blah, blah, blah. So whenever I see, like, just all these guys dressed up as Kirito at conventions, it's like, now, are you actually a nice guy or are you a nice guy? Like, it's definitely a weird power fantasy thing. But it's also kind of a semi-harem anime, and harem animes just by their own existence annoy me. Certain ones I don't mind, but like Tenchi Muyo, but I grew up watching Tenchi Muyo, so I give that one just a biased pass because nostalgia. But most of them it's like, oh, this is dumb, this is not how this would work, but okay. You tell yourself that. And I just never got around to watching the other season. No, I think I watched up to season 2. I don't fully remember. I just don't care too much about Sword Art Online because I don't. If you like it, that's fine. Of course, the ending of season 1 just gets super fucking creepy, and I was like, oh, this makes me feel dirty. I don't want to watch any more of this. Granted, it's the main villain doing the creepy shit, but at the same time, it's like, someone wrote this and had to animate this, and no. SAO isn't very good. The only character I like is Asuna, and once we hit the Elfham, arc, she devolves into the damsel in distress. It's a shame, though she does get her own arc later on. Yeah, that was the other thing that annoyed me. It's like, okay, you wrote her up to be like this badass, and then, yeah, the second season she does jack shit. I mean, she kind of attempts to break herself out, but in the end it doesn't amount to anything. I'm bad at words. I'm sorry. It's just kind of annoying. I don't know. I liked the first couple episodes better when it showed them dealing with being stuck in the game and actually playing the game and shit like that. And yeah, they kind of cover it later on, but most of it just focuses too much on the romance shit, and I just don't do romance crap very much. At all. Ever. I'm a bitter person. So I definitely don't do it anymore. Like, get into romance shit. But I just, again, I was hoping for more dot hack, but I guess if I wanted dot hack, I could have just gone and watched dot hack instead of Sword Art Online or anything else that's like that. Again, I like the trapped in a game kind of thing, and I know there's a few more like slice of life series that are kind of like that. I know that time I got reincarnated as a slime is sort of in that realm. I've seen a few episodes of that, and I like that. But I never could have told you that you were bitter. I'm a bitter, salty person. I won't hide it. I won't deny it. It's true. I like to joke because Haku is the spirit of, like, you know, a river in Spirited Away, that I'm just the human spirit of the Detroit salt mines. And I just only recently figured it out. Fun fact, there are salt mines under Detroit. That is a thing. Salty, salty Detroit. I try not to be better, it's just unfortunately I am. Log Horizon is good if you're more into the logistical, political side of a bunch of people suddenly being trapped in a game. That's another one that I've heard talk of, is Log Horizon. Again, I like the concept. I do. Just Sword Art Online. It got popular. I'm like, I'm sure there's better things. I don't know. I kind of like the fantasy genre like that with a twist. There's another one that came out recently. I don't know too much about it, but it's like where they're stuck in a dungeon or whatever, and they end up like cooking dishes based off of the monsters they kill or something like that. I don't know what that one is. That one's called. Oh yeah, Michigan apparently like doesn't really have a bedrock layer. It's all salt. Yeah. No, I'm just a little bitter. Damn it, roll out! Oh, I'm also getting sand attack to oblivion. Good. Great. Amazing. What attacks do we have? Only spark? We only have spark, do we? Oh shit. Well, if I'm not careful, he's gonna die here really fast. Of course, this Zigazoo doesn't want to fucking attack me, so I guess it's fine. Electrode. Marumine. Learn set. Generation 3. Electrode really only learns Spark? God damn, Electrode, you suck. What the fuck is this learn set? God damn it! Oh, hi there, this is Catherine. Are you keeping up? Oh, you're near Route 119? Oh, well then don't you think we should battle? No. Don't keep me waiting too. Never. Fuck you. Why does Electrode's move pool suck balls? Is it because he is a ball? Ugh. What even? Meh. Meh. Well, that's dumb. Ah, no. While SAO isn't good, I do think Reki Kawahara's earlier work, A Cell World, is better. The protagonist is an actual character, and I like the secret world within the world sort of thing it has going. I'll have to look into it. I think I just... When it comes to series that start out as like light novels, I don't seem to not do well with them. They're just not my thing. That, and I guess I just attribute light novels to being, you know, kind of like young adult-ish romance-y kind of drama shit, and I don't want to read that. Personally. I don't know. I'm not saying there's anything necessarily wrong with light novels, they're just not my thing. And I always get bummed out when I see a series I like and I pick up one of the books and it's a novel and it's like, oh, I like pictures. I don't know, maybe it's also just because I am a more visual person. It's not like I don't like reading books. I used to read a lot when I was younger, it's just... Kitty's hacking up something. Fucking wake up, you stupid ball! But yeah, it's not like I'm anti-book or anything like that, it's just... I guess it's easier too if there's an anime of it. I can have that on while I do something else, and when it comes to reading an actual thing, that's the only thing you can actually do within that time. I'm just more... I lean towards things I can multitask through just because there's so much stuff I have to catch up with, and every time I turn around there's just more stuff I gotta catch up with and I don't know what to do. SAO and A Cell World started as blog posts and an entry to a writing contest for the latter. That's where the infamous SAO chapter 16.5 meme comes from. I can't say I'm actually familiar with that meme. SAO chapter 16.5. Know your meme. I mean, that's pretty cool that that was how they came to be. I mean, I like stories like that, just like behind the origins of things, but I just don't really care about the actual series. Chapter 16.5, referred to as Glop Glop, refers to a special chapter from the original Sword Art Online novel featuring a sex scene between the characters of Asuna and Kirito. Due to the out-of-place and awkward nature of the scene, the chapter became notorious online, spawning many parodies. Okay then. Just gonna leave that one there and move on to other things, like getting back to yelling at Electrode for having a shit-ass moveset! Why do you only learn one fucking electric attack in your existence, god damn it? I could have told you what it was rather than you looking it up. I'm a curious person and I have another computer right here and I just Google shit, it's fine. Thing is, I don't really even like the relationship between Kirito and Asuna. I mean, I guess it's fine, it just Then again, it's just annoying with just the setup of the show. It's like he gets all these other girls fawning over him. It's like, what does it matter? These two are apparently, you know, soulmates, so shut the fuck up and get out of the house. They have a digital kid together somehow. That one's annoying, but whatever. Well, would have saved you some sanity. What sanity? I don't have any sanity left. At all. I am a mess of a person that's held together by naps and chocolate. And anime. video games. And YouTube videos. Sanity is not a thing that exists for me. I think I've been into anime long enough and been to art school long enough, meaning I went to college, to know there's some weird shit out there. Weird shit. Dark web. Dark web has nothing to do with it, I just wanted to say dark web. This running indoor thing is going to spoil me, because then I'm like, why the fuck can't I run in the tall grass? Like the really tall grass. Of course, even though I think it's interesting that SAO started as a writing contest, like, entry, it also makes me a bit wary. I'm not saying that things written on the internet can't become, you know, legitimate things, because One Punch Man started out as a webcomic and then someone redrew it, and that show's great. I love One Punch Man. Didn't Mob Psycho 100 also start off that way? Anyway, I'm not saying things that start out on the internet can't become big things. Plenty of things have. It's just when I hear it's kind of like a fan fiction that was on the internet and got big, I can't help but think of 50 Shades of Grey. And it's like, we have that. Are you guys happy about that one? I'm not. I haven't even read them. I didn't even read the Twilight series because fuck that noise. When I was in high school, everyone in my friend group was reading. It's like, yeah, no. I'm gonna go back to reading Maximum Ride, and I'll be back when I'm mad that I read Maximum Ride. Fucking Maximum Ride. Ugh, I hate Maximum Ride. It's like, I'd rather go watch anime and read manga than read your stupid Twilight fucking novel. Screw Twilight. I don't like Twilight. Thankfully, people can return from the proverbial precipice of madness. Also, I hope it's good chocolate, at least. I like Belgian chocolate, personally. I like any chocolate. I mean, it's not like I have access to tons of Belgian chocolate. I like any chocolate as long as it's not that cheap-ass Palmer bunny bullshit. You know, that really generic crap you see, well, you used to see all over the place, like at Meijer or whatever. And it had that little bunny logo on it. That stuff tastes like plastic and is gross and I hate it and it should be extinguished off the face of the earth. And I don't even mean by eating it. It's just a waste of cocoa. How dare they? You're like I said, I have Maltesers right now. I'm almost out. My bag of Canadian Maltesers is almost gone. Oh no! Sorry, I got distracted because I looked at a Reddit thread where someone was asking what the story was behind 16.5 and you just... Okay, yeah, moving on. Yeah, I don't like Twilight for obvious reasons, aside from the fact that I'm not a romance person. It's just not one of those holes I want to fall into. Instead, like I said, when I was in high school, I was reading through the Maximum Ride series, and then I was heavily disappointed, and I'm going to spoil Maximum Ride for you right now, so if you wanted to read Maximum Ride, you might as well leave, because I'm going to spoil it, because I hate that book, and I don't think it's worth anyone's fucking time. And, was it James Peterson? Who the fuck wrote Maximum Ride? I'm going to go look it up, because... James Patterson wrote Maximum Ride, and he's one of those authors, I'm pretty sure he writes like First One to Die. You see his books like all over the fucking place, and I have no interest in reading any of his other works because I read Maximum Ride. Granted, those aren't like murder mystery novels. In Maximum Ride, it's like a stupid teenage sci-fi drama bullshit thing. It had an interesting premise and they totally ruined it. It was terrible. Fucking goddamn Maximum Ride. So Maximum Ride is about this girl named Max. I don't remember if Maximum is actually her name. Whatever. I'm gonna pull up fucking Wikipedia. Maximum Max Ride. Okay, no, that is actually her fucking name, and it's stupid. It's the most edgy fucking shonen bullshit goddamn Mary Sue stupid I've ever heard. Anyway, she and her adoptive siblings, there's 5 others of them, were like human experiment things when it came to genetics. So they all have bird wings so they can fly, and they all each have their own like special power that, you know, they learn about throughout the story. And every book, there's 5 books. Of course, they're listing a lot more fucking books on here. Oh my god, there's more books? I didn't read Nevermore. I read that one. Oh, there were side novels. I didn't read those ones. I read 5 of the fucking books for it. Hello, Frozen Wrath 666. James Patterson. I read 5 of the fucking books because I liked the idea. It was like a bunch of kids being chased down by super secret society people that experimented on them because they wanted to find their adoptive dad who was one of the scientists or something. I don't actually fucking remember. All the books are them running away from other like genetic experimentations, including like this 8-year-old boy that was like genetically experimented on to look like he was like fucking 16 or something, and it was like buff and he could turn into a werewolf and also had fucking wings. I'm not making this shit up. This shit happened in this book. And hold on, I'm gonna read it. His name was Aerie. It's Jeb's son, who was turned into an eraser when Jeb was helping the flock escape from the school. He was killed. He died? I thought I remember him die. Whatever. He was once killed by Max in the sewers in New York, but gets revived in the 2nd book. He thought his father, Jeb, didn't care much about him, which is part of the reason that he hated Max out of jealousy and chased and terrorized the flock. Yeah, okay, he cares so much about his fucking son, my ass. He got mixed with wolf DNA. Oh, he's also Max's younger half-brother because fuck it! Oh. I just remember him being part wolf and he had wings and it was stupid. Oh my god, and he has a clone? I didn't read these side books and I'm so glad I didn't because they would have gave me another aneurysm. Ah! Super mutant. I'm sorry. Okay, I guess he also has an expiration date, 'cause fine. I'm just gonna keep reading this. However, it is later confirmed that Jeb does care about Aerie because in the Angel experiment, after Max has fought with and killed Aerie, Jeb cries for Aerie and calls after Max, telling her that she has killed her own brother. Oh, stupid. He is Max's younger half-brother since they have the same father, Jeb. When Aerie was only 7, the White Coats used him as an experiment to see if erasers would be stronger if they were mutated after birth. The wolf DNA turned Aerie into a super eraser, although he is always partially morphed. Aerie came back to life and was grafted with wings according to Saving the World and Other Extreme Sports. Stupid. According to Angel, Aerie loved and hated Max at the same time. In Saving the World and Other Extreme Sports, Max and Fang get into a fight because after Aerie broke them out of the school, Max was convinced that he was no longer evil. The flock splits up, blah blah blah. Super mutant named Omega. Aerie tries to help Max fight him, but then his expiration date kicks in and he suddenly dies in Max's arms. Stupid! What? Only living until the age of 7. This kid was 7! He is part wolf and had bird wings! I read this and I know this, but it still makes me mad! Kill me! Kill me. I hate the series. It makes me so mad. Anyway, we'll look into some of these other characters, right? But the books, right? Most of the books are the 6 main kids being chased around, dodging the erasers and the evil scientists that want to bring them back to experiment on them in different locations. That is literally what happens in every fucking book that I read, that I remember. I try and block this thing out, but occasionally something comes up. Like, they had a manga come out for this a while ago, and it just brought back all these angry memories. Because when I got to the 5th book, right? So, Max, I'm really questioning the validity of anything you just said. That sounds insane. No, this happens! This was a book! This is on Wikipedia! I know it's Wikipedia, but this happened! I read these books, I know I did, and I have to warn everyone not to read these books because they're stupid! That's why I'm spoiling it! From what I remember, right now! Anyway, so Max is tasked with, at the beginning of the series, with saving the world. She gets to save the world. So the next the rest of that book is trying to figure that out, and then the other books cover on how she's gonna save the world, and they all figure out their stupid superpowers, because, you know, besides just having bird wings stapled onto their backs, they also have stupid mutated genetic power bullshits. Max's, I think, was like being able to fly really fast, because, you know, maximum ride, flying really fast. Also, to let you guys know, she's only 14 in these books. She's only 14. So shut up. Stupid. Ugh. Her powers are to fly up to 350 miles per hour, and she is the strongest in the flock. She has great leadership abilities, is a master fighter, and has a voice inside her head that tells her what to do most of the time. I'm sorry, she has a conscience. She can think. She has a voice in her head that tells her what to do most of the time? What is this description? It feels like those novels are just the shittiest Fujoshi invented. They are so bad. They are not good. I will never drop this. But, okay, so she gets tasked with saving the world, right? You get to the 5th book. What is the 5th book called? There were 9 books? Why were there 9 books? Fuck you and your 9 books. I think it was the Final Warning. The Final Warning was the last one I read, I think. Final Warning. Even though that's the 4th book. I remember reading 5. Whatever. I read too many of these fucking books, right? But what I remember with her saving the world, they might have retconned it in another book that I didn't fucking read, because fuck this fucking series. I read this. It looks like there was mutants later on, so maybe that's what they meant. But I just wait a minute. What? I just read a sentence from like the 9th book, and now I'm questioning everything. Anyway, I don't want to finish them. No. No. Anyway, when I read the Final Warning, the way at least at this point, now this was in 2009 when I graduated from high school that I read this. This is 10 years ago, so my memory's probably shit, right? Anyway, task was saving the world. In the Final Warning, they go in front of the United Nations, and this is after they went to Antarctica, and they were talking about global warming. You want to know how, at least at that point, she saved the world? She went to the United Nations and said, global warming bad. That is pretty much what I remember. And I'm like, I'm sorry. The fuck just happened? Is that how we're saving the world? Is global warming bad? What? And it was after that point I stopped reading for a good long time. I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm done with these stupid novels. No more. I can't. I won't. No. I was so angry after I read that book. I just stopped. I was like, nope, is high school over yet? I want out. I can't be in the same building as the place where I took out this stupid book. This terrible, horrible book. It was bad. not a good book series. And then, like I said, they got a manga. And then, of course, all the character designs in the manga didn't match up the ones that I had in my head. Because for some reason, the one kid that's technically, he's blind, but he can see people if they stand in front of something white, say like a glacier. I always pictured him with glasses for some reason. I don't know why. He's blind. He doesn't need them. But I guess in my head it's like, oh, that'd be really cool. Is that way he can pretend that his vision's just bad because of glasses or something. I don't fucking know. Stupid. It's just stupid. The whole thing is stupid. We're gonna read. Global warming naturally. Such beautiful worlds have never been hotter than our mortal coil. No, not at all. I didn't know that. Especially back in 2009. That global warming was bad. This was way after An Inconvenient Truth came out. I'm pretty sure we already all knew this. But the book just had to tell you. But see, a genetically altered girl with bird wings had to tell you. And that's what makes it important. Ugh. We're gonna read the little synopsises of these books. Because I'm pretty sure even these little 3-sentence summaries are dumb. Because they're dumb. And they make me angry. And I hate them. Book 1, The Angel Experiment. Oh, how edgy. I think the next book series I read that was after this was around when the first Hunger Game movie came out, and I watched the first Hunger Games movie. It's like, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I would understand if I read the book, but I shouldn't have to read the book to understand this, but I guess I'm gonna go read the book. And then I read the Hunger Games series, and don't even get me started on the Hunger Games series. Ooh, the Hunger Games series. It's better than Maximum Ride, but it still makes me mad. This is why I don't read books anymore, because they just make me angry. I have books that I want to read, but I just don't want to. It's like I've been hurt too many times. They have betrayed me. The printed word. Where's my manga? That's never betrayed me and hurt me in ways before. That's a lie, it has. It's manga. Oh, Maximum Ride. There's an anime that gets me in the same state, and maybe we'll get to that rant once we get to the Maximum Ride rant. Ooh. Things. If you enjoy these things, that's fine. I just don't, and I'm sorry. I don't judge you any if you do, but I don't. I totally skipped the Hunger Game books and just dove into the movies. I enjoyed them. Am I a bad person? No! The movies are fine. The books are just annoying. I really didn't like the first one. Okay, so they're all told from the point of view of Katniss. And again, when she's just describing things in ways a kid her age would not actually describe things, like, wow, you come off as annoying and pretentious. I hate you. I don't care how supple your boot is on your foot or something. Fucking stupid. That's just me. I'm just... I don't know. I'm almost considering asking if you just do a stream where you read bad fan fiction or something, or finish those last 4 books. I mean, maybe. When we were playing... Before I realized that I was messing up on the genocide route for Undertale, I did have a bunch of just like random books here. They're mainly the Five Nights at Freddy's novels, because the shit that happens in the Five Nights at Freddy's novels are silly and stupid, and I don't need teenage romance in my horror animatronic books. Why is this here? I was going to read snippets out of that. I also had one of the Naruto novels that I was going to read out of it, because some of the shit that they do in the one Naruto novel I read was stupid, and I only read it because it's the Kakashi one, and that's the only thing I care about that series. It was bad. It was so bad. There was at least 3 pages where one character was just prattling off her backstory. I'm like, oh my fucking god. Please stop. Just kill me now. I don't want to be here. FNAF has novels? Jesus. Yes, there are 3. There are 3 books. They're technically in an alternate universe to the games. And you have like 6 stupid children characters running through the stupid fucking thing, being chased by the robots. And I mean, I only read the first one. I haven't read the second and third ones yet. But those exist. They exist. Anyway, let's read these summaries of the Maximum Ride series and get annoyed and probably read some character descriptions because they're just as bad. I hate this series, and I will never read anything by James Patterson ever again. No offense to him. Maybe he's good at writing. I don't know. I read Maximum Ride, and I think he sucks at it. And this is coming from high school me. High school me. was very angry. And that's who's talking to you right now, is the high school version of me that had to read these books and has all this pent up fucking rage from these dumb books. Dumb. I don't even know why I picked it up. I think I thought the title was cool or something, even though it's the stupidest, edgiest thing ever. Maximum Ride. Oh, shut up. Stupid. Maybe the cover was cool. I don't fucking remember. Maximum Ride, the Angel Experiment cover. What does the cover look like? Nope, cover's pretty generic. I don't know why I picked this book up. Maybe it was one of those stupid books that was like recommended reading or something. I don't fucking know. If that was the case, then goddamn it, library at my high school. How dare you? That and Maximum Ride has the same, problem a lot of anime has, where they don't understand how kids between the ages of 5 and 14 actually work and think they can do, over the top shit, even though they're I don't think Kishimoto for Naruto has ever been around a 5-year-old. You go through and you look at the timeline for Naruto, they have 5-year-olds doing all this crazy shit. It's like, have you been around a 5-year-old? They're fucking useless. I get it, it's a ninja anime with magic powers, but come on, no. Maximum Overdrive has it beat for silly names though. Yeah, you gotta do the plankton thing. Gotta put it into Maximum Overdrive. Ugh, so dumb. Book series. So, The Angel Experiment, the first book in the fantasy series, gives an overview of the flock. Maximum Max Ride, the leader, Fang, Iggy, Nudge, Gasman, and Angel, all children respectively from the ages of 14 to 6. They are genetically altered, being born with wings, essentially a human-avian hybrid. This book primarily focuses on the abduction of the youngest member, Angel. Angel, of course, I'm pretty sure has, future powers, so everyone just looks to her as like, what's gonna happen next? It's like, oh... Please don't. No, bad. Dude, at 4 years old, I'm left alone for more than 12 hours and I literally kill myself one way or another. People don't actually... I don't think writers have been around 5-year-olds to understand how 5-year-olds work. My cousin has... Well, he's 6 now. But it's like, I'd be around the 5-year-old and be like, no, this wouldn't work. Has anyone actually been around a 5-year-old who makes media to know how 5-year-olds work? They don't work the way you think they do. Well, you think they do. No. They're obnoxious, useless little brats. Most of the time. Let's see. Youngest member Angel and the rest of the flock's noble quest to find and save the youngest member of their family while fighting a number of obstacles, including physical ailments, natural disaster, and fighting erasers, human-wolf hybrid creatures, and the evil scientists at the experimental lab called the School. Stupid. Or the Stephen King book Maximum Overdrive, which is also known for its infamously bad film adaptation directed by King himself. Oh, fun. 4-year-old kid being competent at anything. Yeah, no. No. Let's see. School's Out Forever, which is the second book. The flock is headed towards Washington, D.C., where they hope to find the answers to their origin. They end up being fostered by a former FBI agent and placed into a regular school system to live as normal kids, even though they have fucking wings. I don't remember how they are able to hide them. They just are. But Max, by herself, has a 13-foot wingspan. They bring this up a lot. So I don't know how she's hiding a 13 fucking... Ooh. Nope, I need out. I don't know how she's hiding a 13-foot fucking wingspan on her shirt and jacket, but she just is. Their time here is peaceful, and they experience typical teenage drama. I think this is one of my least favorite books, because fuck teenage drama. They are later attacked by the erasers and a new unknown enemy, and must flee again to find safety. Max finds out there has been a clone created of herself and intended for Max's destruction. Max, too, with whom she must fight or flee from. Also, clones? Clones happen in this? I mean, we have bird humans and wolf humans and clones. Good, fine. No restraint at all. Book 3, Saving the World in Other Extreme Sports, because we need a stupid, long, dumb subtitle, because fuck it. What was I doing at 4 years old? I think there was a year where I was attacked by underground bees. That's a whole story I won't get into. See, this is what I mean, though. If a 5-year-old, they get attacked by bees. Useless. The flock must save the world. From the Atexicon Corporation, who plan to destroy all genetically modified beings and destroy half of the world's population. That's fine. Sure. What? This is book 3 and you're going to... Alright. The flock is captured and they must find a way to escape and stop the corporation's evil plan. There's a debate among the group to decide if they want to escape from their newly found superhero-like duties or to just worry about their own needs, and the other side that feels they have a purpose in helping fight the evil in the world. Ultimately, this causes a rift and the boys of the flock split from the girls in their disagreement and leave without any contact. Oh no, drama. And of course there's a big drama point because the eldest boy of the group, of course, Max has a relationship with, so I'm pretty sure most of the book until they reunite is just her like, I wonder what he's up to, or something like that. I don't fucking remember. Stupid bullshit. I don't care. The final warning. The flock unites again after fighting each other, and they are asked by government officials to contribute their abilities to help a team of scientists study pollution levels. Team of scientists, they've forgotten S. Study pollution levels in the oceans around Antarctica. Hey, 14-year-old girl with bird wings, can you protect this scientist dude who's fucking useless while he looks at snow samples? Cool, thank you. Talk to the United Nations and tell them global warming is bad. Stupid. It wasn't hilarious. Imagine a bunch of kids screaming at the top of their lungs, panicking as bees stung them over and over. If you think that's funny, I have some very strong words for you. No, that sounds fucking scary. Bees are scary. I mean, not like bumblebees, but yeah, those kind of bees. No, thank you. Let's see. Flies out of a government meeting set up to decide what the government officials think is best for them. Later, they go to Antarctica at Jeb Batch Elder and Dr. Valencia Martinez's request, where a team of scientists need their assistance in studying ocean pollution levels. But why? Why do you need 14-year-olds with bird wings to help look at pollution levels? I don't remember why. Stupid. While there, a few members of the flock are captured by the Uber director and taken to Florida. Oh no, not Uber! They're gonna drive us around Florida! The rest of the group makes their way to rescue them and defeat this new villain in the midst of a hurricane. Of course. Max and Fang begin to solidify a romantic relationship with each other. Don't care. Max, a Maximum Ride novel. Really? The flock is attacked by a group of bionic robots, which Max nicknames M-Geeks, at environmental awareness shows in Los Angeles and Mexico City. Global warming bad. Okay, global warming is bad. That's the one thing you need to take away from this book. Besides genetic, human experimentation is probably also bad, especially if you're turning a fucking, 6-year-old, 7-year-old into a fucking wolf hybrid with wings. But, just let them do it. It's fine. Stupid. Just dumb. Later, the government enlists their help to finding out what is destroying hundreds of ships and killing millions of fish off the coast of Hawaii. Max is also looking for her mother, who mysteriously disappeared from the safe house. A mysterious creature mutant appears near the sub, so Angel unexpectedly dives out to have a chat with it. What? It ends up helping the gang. During this mission, Max, Fang, and the others discover many other abilities like breathing underwater. They're bird humans! Why can't they breathe underwater? Why? Stupid! Are they just chimera? Fang, a Maximum Ride novel. The flock travels to Africa, where they meet Dr. Hans Gunther Hagen, a former iTex worker, and Dylan, another human Avrian hybrid designed to be Max's perfect other half. Stupid! Dylan joins the flock, although they are all wary of his motive. Max and Fang are kicked out of the group by Angel, who has decided that they are too focused on their personal relationship than the evils they should be fighting. Fang is taken by Dr. Hans and experimented on. What? He dies for a moment before Max revives him back to life? After getting back to their home, Fang decides to permanently leave the group and start his own flock. They are all heartbroken. Not me, I don't care. What? Angel, a Maximum Ride novel. Max finds out about an organization known as the Dooms. There are so many evil organizations in this alternate version of Earth. God, I'm so glad I don't live here. Jesus. Fucking biotic, robot, mutant, bird hybrid people. God damn. Max finds out about an organization known as the Doomsday Group is brainwashing people and makes an interest in going to stop this group. Meanwhile, Fang starts his own gang, which include Max's clone. Oh no! Fang was in a relationship with Max and now he's hanging out with Max's clone. Ooh, spicy. Which include Max's clone, now called Maya. The two teams join forces in Paris, although they don't exactly get along, but they must stop the Doomsday Group from killing themselves and hurting others. Wait. The Doomsday Group is trying to kill, like, themselves, as in the Doomsday Group? Or the groups? Like, the good guys? Who wrote this? They devise a plan, but everything goes awry when Gazzy fails to disarm all the bombs under the gathering spot. Oh yeah, let the 10-year-old, I'm assuming is 10, I don't know, disarm all the fucking bombs. And the bombs explode while Fang, Gazzy, and Angel are still in the blast radius. Fang and Gazzy make it out safely, but Angel is missing, leaving everyone heartbroken. Angel's epilogue reveals that she is still alive, although her whereabouts remain a mystery. Everyone is heartbroken! That's just how these books end, huh? Everyone's heartbroken that a thing happened and they didn't do enough to fucking stop it. Good job. Nevermore. Ugh. What a stupid time. The story begins when Max and the remaining members of the flock have to go to an ordinary school. Oh no. Though Max is unhappy about it, she just cannot say no to Dylan. Who is Dylan again? Is that her perfect boyfriend? Yes. Okay. Does he have like some kind of like fucking stupid... Their wings qualify them for anything. It seems fucking like it. Meanwhile, Fang's gang is caught up where they're attacked by two convoy trucks and some of them are seriously injured and Maya is killed. Oh, Max too is dead. Fang leaves the rest of his gang and tells them to move on with their lives, and he goes back to Max with his original flock. Then what was the point in you leaving? Dylan at this time is under an influence to kill Fang in order to save Max, and the apocalypse is... The apocalypse now? He is unable to kill Fang, and the flock is led by Dr. Martinez to a paradise where they'll be safe from the apocalypse, and Angel is there to greet them. Where? What? The apocalypse has taken the form of a virus and various natural disasters, and the flock is trying to survive. This is supposed to be the last book in the series, but it was announced later that Maximum Ride Forever would be released in 2015. Maximum Ride Forever. The 9th book in the Maximum Ride series was released on January 19, 2015, but later had its release date changed to May 4, 2015, later revised to May 18th. Unlike the previous book, it was advertised as the final book in the series. The plot begins with the flock splitting up in this post-apocalyptic world to find survivors after the decimation of most populations of people on the planet. What happened to Max saving the fucking world? It sounds like she fucked up. Many of their loved ones have died or gone missing. Throughout the book, they locate their loved ones and fight a new enemy, called Remedy, and his horsemen, who have been going around the remaining population of Earth and killing mutants. In a final battle of good and evil, Max defeats Remedy and the horsemen, and all the survivors go into hiding. For 4 years, the entire army lives in the underground settlement as they let the nuclear winter pass. Once it's safe for them to leave, the mutants travel to Peru where they settle on Incan ruins. Oh, okay. The series ends with Phoenix, Max, and Fang's 4-year-old child starting her first flying lesson. saving the world. I remember that being a thing. Does that just not... Let's look at the characters and talk about how amazing they fucking are. Give myself another goddamn aneurysm. Maximum Max Ride is the title character. Really? Please just stop reading out these books. You're just fueling the rage. No. I just gotta warn everyone. Don't read these books. I just need to give you guys proof. But reading how stupid these are. Max is the title character and the primary protagonist of the series. She grew in a lab. Good sentence. Just full stop. She grew in a lab. She is a 14-year-old, 15 in Fang, Angel, and Nevermore, avian-human hybrid and leader of the flock. She plays the part of a mother or mama bird in this case. Great. Her hair color has differed throughout the books, being described as dark as sunstreak brown, Max, and as light as blonde. School's out forever, saving the world and another. God damn, you can't even be consistent with your fucking character descriptions unless she's dyeing her hair. I'm gonna pop an ulcer and something. I'll be fine. I'll just be a bit angry. Yeah. She has peachy skin and eyes the color of non-barfed chocolate. I'm sorry. Why is that a descriptor? Why is that how you go to describe someone's eye color? According to Angel, Max is 5'8" and weighs 97 pounds as described in the final warning. She has a 13-foot wingspan and is half Hispanic as described in Saving the World and Other Extreme Sports. Her wings are light tan with brown spots and cream and brown streaks. Max's powers are to fly up to 350 miles per hour. She is the strongest of the flock. She has great leadership abilities. The world still ended, so she's bad. I don't know. She is a master fighter, has a voice inside her head that tells her what to do most of the time, and she develops gills at the end of Max. I'm sorry, what? Why? And Max talks with Fang in the desert after talking to him about Nudge wanting to cut her wings off. Later, the flock meets Dylan, who, according to Dr. Hans, is Max's perfect other half. Max teaches Dylan how to fly and fight. She also notices a slight jealousy from Fang. Max begins to feel an attraction for Dylan when Fang leaves. An Angel, she and Dylan, an 8-month-old clone with 2% avian DNA grow closer, confusing her feelings about Fang, who also begins to go closer to Maya, who is Max's clone. Max is one of the 2 members of the flock who found her parents. Iggy is the other. So the Dr. Martinez mentioned is her mom, and then Jeb is her dad. I remember that being a thing. Wow, her dad sucks. If he just lets the stupid evil organization, genetically alter his daughter to have fucking bird wings. Even before she's born. Good job, Dad. Great dad. Amazing dad. Awesome. However, she is the only one to like her parents as Iggy leaves us after only a week or so. They wanted to put him in a freak show. She is stunned when she learned that Jeb Batchelder, a white coat who helped them escape from the school and then raised them and then suddenly left, was her father. Dr. Valencia Martinez is her biological mother. Max trusts Dr. Martinez completely. I remember she just ends up at Dr. Martinez's house just randomly, and then they just later discover, oh yeah, by the way, you're my daughter. I'm like, wow, that's convenient. Oh no, there's a movie. Why? The graphic novel was enough. No. Not a movie. Never. I might watch it. It might be funny, but never. I like to suffer. Life is suffering. Max trusts Dr. Martinez completely, but remains wary of Jeb. No shit. She is also close to her half-sister, Dr. Martinez's daughter Ella, who Max first meets when trying to save her from some bullies in the first book. Max dislikes Ari, her half-brother and Jeb's son, until she learns that they're related, with whom she is constantly fighting, but then he joins her mini-flock that was created in saving the world in other extreme sports for a short time. He dies trying to help, after rescuing them from the school where they were going to be killed. It's from 2016. Ooh. I stopped caring about this book series in 2009. That's why I'm surprised there's so many other books. Fang is 14 years old, 15 in the last 3 books. He is second in command of the flock and Max's best friend, later her boyfriend. He is only 4 months younger than Max. He is able to virtually disappear by staying very still and quiet. Oh, so he's like Drax, who died, be honest. No one died. No one died, Danny. Hello, Danny. It's been a while, Danny. No one's dead yet, Danny. Not this time. We're still trying to train everyone up so we don't just completely wipe in the next gym. Right now we're reading about Maximum Ride and just getting angry. Meaning I am reading about Maximum Ride and getting angry. He is so much stronger than the rest of the flock, often sustaining near fatal wounds, as in books 1 and 2. Fang almost always wears dark clothing and always seems to be sneaking up on Max. Oh, he's one of those kids. He has dark blue-black hair and eyes with olive skin. He is believed to have had DNA of a raven because of his black wings that have a purple/blue shimmer. He has a 14-foot wingspan. Stupid. How many gens have you done so far? Oh, do I want weather ball? Get rid of sunny day. What do you mean, gens? Ah, excuse me. In the angel experiment, he found out that the school took him after he was born. When his mother had him, the doctors told her that he had died. Fang decided that he didn't want to find his mother. She wasn't much older than his own age when she had him. You're 14! What, did she have you when she was like 16 or something? What? He is somewhat reserved but cares deeply about the flock. He is usually very silent and seems quite mysterious, always hiding his feelings. Wow, how typical. God! He runs a blog about the flock's adventures that proves useful in several books. Useful to who? The people chasing you? Why would you do that? In the angel experiment, Max kisses Fang when he is injured and school's out forever. Hey Frozen Wrath 666, thanks for the follow. It's just me ranting about books and shit. Oh, he's seen kissing the red-haired wonder Lisa. Who the fuck is Lisa? He and Max fight about this, but afterwards they make up. Of course they fucking do. In saving the world, blah blah blah. He kisses Max. And the final warning, I don't care about when they kiss! Jesus Christ. She kisses him, he kisses her, he kisses this other girl. Blah 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 blah. Stupid. Fang leaves the flock again at the end of Fang because of Dylan, Max's perfect other half, and because Angel has predicted that Fang would be the first to die. Therefore, because he knows that by dying he would put the others in danger, he leaves. Everyone is upset by this, especially Max, but she finds a letter later that he wrote to her saying that if in 20 years the world hasn't come to an end, he'll meet her on the cliff where they learn to fly like the hawks. How romantic. I'm gonna drop a follow for now. Q popped. Oh. Yeah, totally. Oh, this is so stupid. I don't care about how much they love each other. It's so stupid. Oh my god, it's so bad. Fang dies in Maximum Ride forever, but he is revived by when Dylan sacrifices himself for him to live and Max to be happy. Great. Amazing. Okay, actually, there's one kid I wanted to read about because I remember him being the most annoying kid because his name is stupid. The Gas Man Gazzy. The Gas Man Gazzy. I don't think he actually gets a name. That's just what they call him. Is 8 years old, with blonde hair, blue eyes, tan light brown wings with a 10-foot wingspan. He is Angel's biological older brother, and they are the only blood-related siblings of the flock. He has a mischievous nature and makes fun of Max sometimes. But why is he called that? Oh, he and Iggy are experts at constructing and setting off bombs and explosives. This kid is 8. As Max states, you could lock the gas man in a padded cell with some dental floss and a bowl of jello, and he'd find a way to make something explode. Okay, sure. Whatever. Stupid God mod Mary Sue bullshits! It is revealed that his parents sold both him and Angel, his younger sister, to the school when they were very young. The gas man's most useful ability is to perfectly mimic any voice. Max and Fang find a picture of baby Gazzy when they go check out what they think was Gazzy and Angel's old residence. The flock sees the picture many times accidentally and sometimes purposely throughout the series. He is called the Gas Man because he passes gas a great deal, owing to a problem with his digestive system. Additionally, he later develops a skill. He can produce large, mushroom-shaped clouds of gas which stink horrendously. Why is this a character? This is only because you wrote a book for kids, and you're like, it'd be funny. Kids like fart jokes. Oh, so dumb. Let's see, Iggy was the blind one. He met his parents. He was kidnapped when he was 4 months old. He was going to live with his parents, but leaves when he learns that his parents didn't want to have him back and only wanted to use him to make money off his story. Due to the White Coat's experiments to enhance his night vision, Iggy is effectively blind, though he can see if his surroundings are white and can identify people by feeling their fingerprints and the feel of their wings. Sure. He can also feel colors. Huh? Despite his blindness, the flock often leave things up to him that require precision or detail, such as cooking or doctoring. His senses are also the best of the flock due to his blindness, although he occasionally suffers resentment of his blindness and the resulting dependency of the flock it creates. Great. Amazing. Nudge? I don't even fucking remember Nudge. Whenever they do book series like this that have like 6 characters in it, you always have a handful that people don't actually care about because they're not the main character. Hiya, Forte, it's Jackson. How are things with you? You're where now? Route 119? Well, how about we have a quick... No. No, I'm never. Fuck you. There's a dog named Total, which might allude to Toto from The Wizard of Oz. Oh, it's a talking dog. Of course it's a talking dog. Why wouldn't it be a talking dog? Is it a talking dog with wings? Why not? Everyone gets to have wings in this series. Oh my god, he does! He gets wings! I was joking! In the end of Fang, Total marries Aquila, an Alaskan Malamute, whom he met... Malamute? How do you say that dog name? I don't fucking know. I don't care. Whom he met in Antarctica and Maximum Ride the Final Warning. It is discovered Total thinks Trisha Heffer is hot and Angel. What? When they are going to the Comic-Con in San Diego. What? He is known to be a fan of culture, including theater and cuisine. He has the ability to jump to great heights and eventually grows his own tiny wings! No! Oh, that other dog gets killed. Great. Amazing. You can't just give everybody wings! The Erasers, created by the school in Death Valley, are half-human, half-wolf hybrids that were bred by the school to be guards, but their larger mission later involves hunting down and even killing the members of the flock. Their powers are superhuman strength, but they also eventually gain wings that are crudely grafted onto their shoulder blades. They have a lifespan of about 4 years to reach maturity and approximately a year or 2 to hunt the flock. Wow. Sucks to be them. Jeb's son Aerie, who was turned into an eraser at a very young age, is one of the last to die when ITEX retires all the erasers and replaces them with flyboys, robotic erasers with synthetic skin attached to their robotic structure. The erasers were originally killed off because they expire very quickly, but they make a surprise appearance in Fang when they attack all of the flock but Max and Fang, who are not at the house with the others. Great. Stupid. And of course, the one kid that gets turned into one, he's fucking 7. That's fine. Sure. Great. Amazing. Good job, Dad. Jeb is like one of the worst fathers. Jesus. Oh, and Dr. Hans later becomes Remedy. Remedy. Oh god, what an edgy fucking villain. Fuck you. In Maximum Ride Forever, Dr. Hans becomes known as the Remedy and builds a large underground shelter in Russia. This is after the world ends, after the apocalypse, but okay. Hold on. Gunther Hagen is a scientist the flock meets in Fang, where he introduces Dylan to the rest of the flock. He is the main antagonist in both Fang Angel and later Maximum Ride Forever, constantly telling Max that she needs to join forces with him to save the world, which she apparently does a shit job at doing. He creates a lot of tension in the flock. Max constantly makes fun of his name, calling him things like Dr. GH, Dr. Hagen-Dazs, Dr. God, Dr. Disaster, etc. He created Dylan, wrote a book. He wrote a book. What an achievement. James Patterson wrote a lot of books. That's nothing new. Shut up. And makes the shocking suggestion that Max and Dylan should come live with him in Germany in order to breed, have children, or create the start of Max's dynasty. This is creepy, because I feel like this is also a guy that would watch that shit and know. Bad. He also has some special abilities such as instantly healing from illnesses and regenerating small extremities such as fingers. Why? Why does he have the... why am I asking why? Maximum Remedy, he develops a serum known as upgrading, which turns his subjects into horsemen, genetically improving them, making them stronger, increasing their senses, but removing their free will. He allowed the meteor to strike the Earth in Nevermore and kill millions of people in an attempt to eradicate the genetically imperfect in order to populate the Earth with his genetically perfect creations. He uses his horsemen to kill the imperfect mutants still living on Earth, including the flock. He desperately tries to kill Max and her developing baby to keep her imperfect genes from spreading, but is then killed by Max when she drops him over the ocean. Okay. Sure. What? I'm just gonna let that meteor hit the Earth. There's no one else on the planet that could stop it. I am the only person that could stop it. Like, what? What even? Oh look, the second book was criticized for being disappointingly anticlimactic and violent. Yeah, sure. It's stupid. Yeah, then they had a manga. Oh, yep, here's a film adaptation. Ugh. There's a Marvel comic series? Why? Why? No. Series doesn't... No. Enough of that. It's... TDLR. Or... TLDR. Wow. Fucking letters. Don't read Maximum Ride. It's a dumb series and it's bullshit. End of story. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, where I just get angry about children's book series that is stupid. They want children to read it and just be in awe about it. Just bullshit. When it comes to like Hunger Games though, I think I like the second book the best. I also like the second movie the best. I don't remember the last couple. I don't remember. Did they do the same thing that Harry Potter and Twilight and all of them did with the third book and make the third book into 2 films? So were there 4 Hunger Game movies? I don't remember. Did I even finish watching those? Did I even see the end? I don't fucking remember. I didn't really care for the Hunger Games. I didn't care for the Hunger Games because the ending was stupid. Because the entire sacrifice that fucking Katniss makes at the beginning of the series is extremely pointless by the end of it. I'm like, oh great, I just read 3 books for that to not matter in the slightest. And I get it. You know, not everything ends on a happy note. Not everyone gets what they want. That's not how life works. But at the same time, with all the bullshit Katniss has to go through, you think she could win at least once. That's the one thing that like annoys me with Attack on Titan. I mean, okay, the recent chapters have been okay, but there was a point where in Attack on Titan they just constantly kept losing. No matter what they did, they just constantly lost. Everyone died, and it became such a slog to sit there and read it because you just assumed they were going to win, and eventually even waiting for something good to happen wore off. You just didn't want to do it anymore. And it's like, okay, I guess they were successful at portraying like that sense of hopelessness and pointlessness like the characters are feeling, but it also doesn't really make for good entertainment when no matter what they do, no matter how close they get, they just constantly fail. It's like, can they just have one thing? Just one thing. Just let them get to the basement. I am tired of watching them not get to the basement. Never read Hunger Games. I haven't read a lot of popular book series. The premise is fine, but that it's not like that battle royale premise is new. And it's just, I didn't really care for it when I read it. Second book just seemed more solid than the other 2. And I only read the book series because the movies came out and my sister and friend were like super into it. And then we watched the movie and I'm like, I feel like there's stuff missing here. They're like, well, you gotta go read the book. The book's better or something like that. I don't remember what the argument was. I read the book. It's like, well, that was a waste of my time. Thanks. I think that was one of the last times I thought about Maximum Ride because like, great, another book series that I sat down and bothered to read and then I was just heavily disappointed in. Amazing. Like I said, that is actually one reason why I kind of stopped reading there. Besides just getting busy in college and not really making the time for it, I couldn't be bothered to make the time for it. I just got so mad at Maximum Ride. I mean, I might have read one of the Harry Potter. I don't remember if Harry Potter finished coming out in book form when I was still in high school or not. Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows was the last one, right? When did this come out? No, okay, I was still in high school when Deathly Hallows came out. So it's like, I didn't even go back to read any of the Harry Potter books after I finished reading Maximum Ride. I was just that done. At that point, I'm like, no. I'm not reading any more like children aimed, even high school, you know, children aimed fucking books because I just couldn't do it. Never read Harry Potter either. Oh, that's fine. I got into them late. I think they had the first 4 books out by the time I got into them, and I remember in 3rd grade everyone had already read them. They're like, you need to read them. I was like, they're probably not even that good, and I read them and I actually really did like them. Of course, nowadays I just have I have a slight issue when it comes to watching at least the movies or anything related to it. Like, it took me forever to see the first Fantastic Beasts movie. And the reason why I just can't is, of course, very stupid. And it stems to the same reason why I have a slight issue enjoying Pokemon Sword and Shield in certain aspects. It's certain things about it bring back bad memories, and I was just like, crap, can't do it. The Harry Potter books, though, are fun enough as a series. I ignore most of the recent stuff in J.K. Rowling's, you know, retconning of shit and addition of details that don't really need to be there. Whenever I see like another video or article or whatever pop up about it, I just kind of ignore it. But while I'm sitting here warning people about series to maybe stay away from that aren't Maximum Ride, I'm going to go back to this one anime series that I mentioned that also makes me extremely mad. Now, if you've seen the series and you like it, fine. I don't. And I only became aware of this series because I had someone commission me to draw one of the main characters. I'm like, oh, the designs are kind of fun. It makes me think a lot of, Madoka Magica. Because that's all it is. It's just another Madoka Magica. It's a magical girl anime that has a dark twist to it that everyone wants to fucking do now. And it's like, okay, this is just what we're doing. We can't just have a magical girl anime where it's fun anymore. It just has to have a dark twist to it where everyone dies or something stupid like that. But I did this commission, and I'm like, oh, I'm interested in the show. I'll sit down and watch it. It's 12 episodes, so I sat there and I binged it. And I was so angry by the end of it. Because I remember Madoka Magica, I actually liked that. That one actually got to me. And then, of course, they had the movie come out, and then whatever sacrifice was made at the end of the series didn't fucking matter. Slight spoilers, I guess, for Madoka Magica, and definitely for Yuki Yuna as a hero. Because if you're going to watch your dark twist magical girl anime, just go watch Madoka Magica. Yuki Yuna is just totally copying the format, and then they don't even follow through. They get really up in your face about hurting you when it comes to like what happens with the characters, and then they don't even do it. I'm like, oh, you assholes. Like, I was ready for the emotional fallout or whatever, and you won't even give me that. Like, it was so anticlimactic at the end. Oh my god, there's a second season? No. Forget that noise. Oh no. Please say that's not true. Please say that's not true. It looks like there was a second series. Oh my god, there was at least 2 other things? What even? No! No, no, I'm not, no. I'll jump on the anime warning bandwagon here with Move Love Alternate, Total Eclipse. It's terrible, it's prequel. Swartzen Markin Black Marks is terrible. Nobody should watch it. Those titles hurt my head. Well, again, we're gonna get into spoilers for Yuki Yuna. My one friend thinks the salt I have for the series is fucking hilarious. I think the show is stupid. And also, like I said, slight spoilers for Madoka, but Madoka's kind of old. So in Madoka, basically, it turns out that having magical girl powers is actually detrimental to the user's health, and it actually leads into bad things. And that's what happens in Yuki Yuna. Yuki, the main girl character, and her friends create this thing called the Hero Club in their school, at their school, which is just dedicated to making people's lives better. You know, doing small things around the neighborhood. Also, they live in this universe where their town is protected by a god tree, more or less. Because everything outside the barrier that the god tree projects, the world has basically been destroyed. But I don't think the characters actually... Well, they learn of this after they get chosen to be magical girls, more or less. So they all become magical girls, and they all get like these little spirit helper things, and they're like, oh, they're so cute, look at them. But the one girl who is... So, Yuki is pink, and, you know, her color is pink, and she believes in the goodness of everyone, and so she's your Madoka character. And then her best friend is... What's her name? What is her name? Momori. She's kind of like your... why am I forgetting the fucking Madoka magical characters? I'm like a fucking Madoka Magica. Madoka Magica's fine though. Hamura. So, Momori is your Hamura character, except where, you know, she's colored in blue and she has black hair. Like the designs are almost like they're like weird rip-offs of the Madoka Magica characters. Anyway, she can't use her legs, so she's in a wheelchair, and she has, like, for some reason, she has like 3 magical creature things, and everyone's like, well, why do you have more magical creatures than the rest of us? And they explain, well, the more magical creatures you have, the stronger you are. Well, it turns out, so they're tasked with fighting these things called the Vertexes. They're kind of like your angels from Evangelion. There's a certain number of them, apparently, that are going to be sent by outside forces to try and kill the god tree so they can get in and destroy the rest of humanity, something like that. So, you know, they have to use their magical girl powers to take out the vertexes, because you have to. And Yuki's main form of attack is punching things, and she does a thing called like a hero punch, like where she just yells out hero punch and she punches stuff and it makes everything better. I'm not even kidding, and it's not even as fun as like One Punch Man. But One Punch Man is a good series, so I'm not angry about One Punch Man. Anyway, it turns out throughout the series that when the girls use like their ultimate attack, it means that they have to sacrifice the use of something in their everyday lives because of Yuki Yuna is a hero, is the show I am explaining. It is a Madoka Magica clone. It's like mashing Madoka Magica with Evangelion, and then they have a shitty ending that makes you upset, and it's like, why did I watch 12 episodes of this if you're not going to do anything useful with it? But the girls all figure out that by using their super special moves, that they lose the ability to like use something. That's why the one character who can't use her legs cannot use her legs, because she has actually been a magical girl for a while, but besides losing the use of both of her legs, she also has lost her memory, which is why she has like 3 or 4 fucking familiars, because every time they use their special power, they get a new familiar, and the familiar is more or less there to make sure their magical girl doesn't try to off herself when she realizes the implications of her life as a magical girl. Cause the girl who can't walk, she realizes what is going on, so she tries to kill herself. She's like, guys, look, they won't let me kill myself, which is the only way, I guess, to get out of like this dark cycle that they're in. And the reason why they lose like their sense of taste or hearing or ability to walk or whatever is because they have to sacrifice something to use their power in order to also strengthen the god tree, which they're protecting from the monsters. It's one of those weird give and take relationship things where it's just a lose-lose situation. And of course there's one girl who wants to be like the best magical girl ever, so she's antagonistic. And the one girl who wants to be a singer, but of course after she uses her magical power, she loses her ability to talk, and that kind of drives her older sister over the edge. You know, drama like this. You're like, okay, that's interesting, fine. And eventually they meet another ex-magical girl who's been like fucking around forever, because she has like 20 guardian spirits and she's confined to a bed and everything, and she can still talk and hear and she can see out of one eye, but she's more or less bedridden because she's just sacrificed so much, and she's only there to make sure they don't do anything stupid because she's just so strong she can do that. Well, eventually wheelchair girl just like loses her mind like Kamara does. Forte, this is Bernie. Bernie, go away! How are things with you? I tried to catch a wild marrow earlier, but it managed to flee. I defeated it. Oh no, I feel defeated. My bad. But Mamori, the wheelchair girl, decides to fucking... She loses her fucking mind and decides, well, the only way we're going to be able to get out of this, because we're not allowed to kill ourselves and we have to fight the monsters or else they'll destroy the world tree and then the world will get destroyed. She's like, actually, no, that's the more preferable option. Let's just destroy the world. So she goes out and destroys the barrier, keeping all the other vertexes out, because it turns out there's more than like 12 or so vertexes, because they're told there's only a certain number of giant enemy monsters, because they're supposed to die before they realize, or they're supposed to like either perish or just become so useless in the real world that they can't do anything about it before they find out that they've been lied to this whole time by the stupid god tree. She's like, okay, if I can't get out of this and the god tree is not gonna let me back out of it, I'm just gonna fucking destroy the barrier and let all the vertexes destroy the world and the god tree. Fuck you, I don't want my friends to be stuck in this terrible cycle. Fuck you, god tree. And everyone's like, no, you can't do that, we can find a way to make it better. And when I say everyone, I mean like Yuki is like, no, we can totally make it better through the power of positivity and friendship and shit like that. That is pretty much her whole character the whole fucking show. That is as far as it develops. Is, of course, she sees the good in everything and everyone, even though it's pointless and they're eventually going to lose, you know, the use of their legs and arms and hearing and sight and touch and all that fun stuff. It's fine. It's totally fine. You can fix it with friendship and magic. Anyway, they start building it up to be all dramatic and shit, and I was actually into it until the final fucking episode, where it all seemed hopeless, and girl destroys the barrier, and she's like, just fucking kill everything. The apocalypse, the end of humanity is more preferable than the future we have laid out before us. Well, Yuki, they go up against this giant vertex, and the vertexes, of course, start to get stronger, where they can only take it out by using their superpower, and of course that locks out more of their physical abilities when they're not in magical girl form, the more that they use these powers. So they're all trying to save the world by sacrificing themselves, And Yuki's like, here, I'll fix it. Like, they go up against the face of this giant vertex. And she more or less, she does her hero punch. And with the power of love and friendship and whatever, they don't actually explain it. She punches the one giant vertex. And there was a giant flash of light. And, oh no. We're just gonna leave. And everything just goes back to normal. Everyone gets back whatever they lost. I mean, Yuki falls into a coma for like a half an episode. But she believes in the power of love and friendship and everything. Punches this thing once. Everything goes back to normal. Everyone's better. Wheelchair girl can walk and everything. And eventually Yuki comes out of her coma. And then everyone's happy and it's all fine and dandy, and that's how I remember it ending. It just ended on a happy note. I'm like, no, fuck you, anime. Because I came in watching it, well, came in with the expectation that after watching Madoka Magica that, you know, someone had to lose. There was going to have to be some kind of sacrifice. And again, what they did with Madoka I thought was pretty good. But the time travel bullshit and Hamura's, you know, declining mental stability from all that time travel and not being able to save her friends, blah, blah, blah. I was like, but no, they just totally cop out at the end. Yuki gets her way using the power of love and friendship and magic and positivity and shit, and everything just goes back to normal and things are fixed, I guess. Of course, like I see here, there's at least 2 other anime series that might have retconned something or fixed it or made it worse or something, but I just remember being so fucking angry. It's like, no, I came in here to get emotionally traumatized by a magical girl anime, and then you pull your punch, except not really at the last second. Like, you couldn't commit to what you were setting up. You're like, yeah, let's do all this dark dramatic stuff, and then you get to the last episode and they don't fucking do it. I'm like, no, I sat through 12 episodes. You can't do this. But they did it anyway. And I just remember being so angry. It's like, you guys, you could have done anything else, but no, you just had to fix it with a stupid punch. I don't know how or why things just start to, you know, fix things. This also, by the way, ends the apocalypse that Wheelchair Girl had started and fixes the barrier. I don't remember what even happened to the stupid god tree. But whatever. According to this one episode, it says, one day the gods decided to end and cleanse the world, sending the vertexes, but some gods tried to save mankind and merged to form Senju and raise a barrier around Shikoku to preserve it. I just remember being very mad at the end of the series. It's like you guys couldn't even commit to your dark fantasy magical girl thing. I really don't recommend the series. Again, just go watch Madoka Magica if you want your dark fantasy magical girl twisty anime shit, because it was much better. Even if the movie then kind of ruined the sacrifice at the end, but whatever. Let's see. Total Eclipse and Black Marks take the typical aliens we must construct giant robots trope and even sets it up really well, then goes nowhere with it. Rather than focus on this bleak, horrific war that mankind is fighting and failing, it jams itself into ethnic identity and conflict. Also completely unneeded fan service. Oh boy. Fun. I also, if I remember correctly, Yuki Yuna also had some annoying fan service shots when it came to the girls when they were transformed, of course, because, you know, they get weird kind of tight uniforms, and the one girl, the one in the wheelchair, she actually has a sniper rifle, and it's like some of the shots of her, you know, lying down flat to use the sniper rifle. Like, is this really necessary? I kind of judge a show on how often they use unnecessary fan service. Of course, it depends on the show. Because, again, I'm a big fan of Studio Trigger stuff. And Kill la Kill is one of my favorite anime. Even though that one's rife with fan service. But see, the fan service in that is a satire of the nature of shows that handle that. Even Gurren Lagann. What, kitty? She's glaring at me from the other side of the room like I did something. No, that's my coat. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. But even Gurren Lagann, that's a satire and just like the power crawl in an anime. And yeah, they have some fan servicey stuff, but whatever. I think that's kind of played more for comedy. That, and you see that a lot in shows like that anyway. I'm not saying that sometimes that it's always necessary when they do it, but it's like I can recognize that they're also making a comment on how other shows in similar genres handle it. The aliens in that series also have the worst acronym in history. They're called the Beta, which stands for Beings of Extraterrestrial Origin, which are adversary of the human race. Wow! No, there should be way more letters in that acronym. That's terrible. That's bad on a level I can't describe. Gee, that's a mouthful. I understand needing an acronym for it, but Jesus. You got all these like weird footnotes. Wow. But yeah, it's like I kind of judge a show on just how bad some of the fan service can get. Because some shows, it's obvious that the fan service is there just for the fan service. Like, wow, this is unfortunate and unnecessary. Which is one reason why Food Wars, when I was complaining about that the other night, was like annoying me. It's like, god damn it, I like the premise of kids having to fight via cooking. Why do you have to over-sexualize people eating really good food? It's obnoxious. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've seen, I guess, but actually, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna take that back, because there's this one character in one of these episodes of Food Wars where she's thinking about the main character and how he likes to experiment with food, and in her mind she thought about him making this weird thing with like octopus tentacles in it. And of course the shot of him feeding her an octopus tentacle is oddly detailed with a high frame rate, and you see like every little movement. And of course her mental image is her just getting felt up by octopus tentacles. I'm like, okay, show, that's unnecessary. Holy shit. Again, I get it's rated TVMA, but holy crap. Ruining a perfectly fine premise with your overly sexual foodgasms, and I don't appreciate it. I was fine with food anime, with cooking anime, and then they had to go and do that. Of course, if you want a wholesome cooking anime, you go watch Sweetness and Lightning, and then you leave it at that, and you forget Food Wars is a thing. Like the beta, why do I want to say beta? Like the beta are almost completely forgotten for most of Total Eclipse. The main characters are literally testing new mecha for the war effort, but the beta, the fuck is my problem? Just disappear after this fantastic setup. First couple episodes are about the invasion of Japan and this chick whose entire squad is slaughtered in front of her. Literally dragged out of their mechs and torn apart. Ooh. It's always a shame though when a series takes a misstep like that. Especially if there are like maybe a couple episodes you actually enjoyed, or there's like certain things about it that you liked. Be it like, I don't know, art direction or just general setup, and then they just fall into a fucking hole and they stay down there and they don't try and get out. They're like, no, this hole's fine. Come in and join us. They're like, no, that hole's gross. Get out of there. It really is a shame. Of course, I know certain well, not as bad, but it's like I know certain like TV shows recently have fallen out of like good graces with audiences because like their final seasons or episodes were shit. I watched like this whole thing on why the ending of Star versus the Forces of Evil didn't end well, and I haven't actually seen this. I've seen episodes of the series, but I haven't sat down and watched it. And it's like they just completely shot everything good they had going for it in the foot. And I know a lot of people felt that way about Voltron too. And it's like, yeah, it did kind of get annoying in later seasons in Voltron with some of the choices they made. I just got annoyed with Voltron. It's like every season they needed at least one episode for them to remember how to be a team. It's like your whole thing hinges on this. How do you guys keep forgetting that you can't act like this if you want Voltron to work? Because then they act surprised that Voltron isn't working again because they're not acting like a team, and then they have to relearn how to be a team. It's like, no, you guys can't be this fucking dumb. I mean, well, Voltron started out fine. I can't really say I liked a lot of the rest of it. I mean, the animation and stuff was fine in it, but story-wise, like, oh, okay. Then they didn't even do anything really that interesting with Lotor, and his ending was just shit. And I know a lot of people have like issues with Legend of Korra, but I feel like even that series ended on a better note than some of these other series did. I know a lot of people have an issue with how they handled the ending of Season 5 for Steven Universe, which I don't blame them. Like, everyone just gets to get redeemed, and we have to introduce 5 new fusions that are only on the screen for like 30 seconds, if that. I was like, yeah, they're cool to see, but you don't do a lot with them. And that's what I was disappointed with in the Steven Universe movie. It's like, they show you Lapis, Peridot, and Bismuth, and they're in there for, I don't know, one song. Okay, they're in there for a little bit, but they still don't really do anything. And I really hope in Steven Universe future that they do something more with these characters, because at least with Lapis and Peridot, people like those characters. People, I think, are also still on the fence about Bismuth, but I like her well enough. But then again, it must be hard as a showrunner to balance things. It's like you want to tell this story, but then if it gets too popular or you do a good enough job, the studio's going to want more seasons. And if you get too many seasons, then you have to stretch out stuff or make crap up that doesn't actually fit in the story. And then it starts to, you know, falter at the end. Or you don't get enough seasons and you have to cram it into like less time than you thought you had. And then everything feels rushed and unearned, and it's just as bad. And I was like, it's unfortunate. Like, the only way you can get things out there that are popular enough is if you are with like a major network or something, but there's so many limitations with that. It really grounded just how severe the beta invasion was, and to see it shoved aside was maddening. I have to give credit to the mecha too, since they made it a big point that different countries had different design philosophies and skills that they valued in pilots. It was initially cool to see the main guy struggle with adapting to this other method of piloting. I know it's a little bit different, but it makes me think just a little bit of Pacific Rim, the first one. I didn't see the second one. I really liked the first one, even though it's been a while. Of course, again, I'm biased. When I watched it, it was only because my one friend's like, you know, Ellen McLean's the voice of Gypsy Danger, right? It's like, no, I did not. And of course, Ellen McLean is the voice of GLaDOS. And I remember when I saw her at that convention a few years ago, she's like, yeah, they asked me to come in for it, but I didn't want to just do the same GLaDOS voice. And even though they got like the same voice mixing like set up from Valve for GLaDOS, they tweaked it just a little bit so it's not the exact same as GLaDOS for Gypsy Danger. Which I thought was like just a little interesting tidbit. I mean, it sounds close enough so people would recognize it as such, but they still changed it up a bit to make it kind of its own thing. But no, see, something like that would make me mad too. It's like you set up like this big, serious, you know, alien threat, and then you're like, oh, what aliens? What were we doing again? Look, we made a giant robot. It's like, okay, why did you make that giant robot? I don't remember. Like, I feel like if I did watch that and I wasn't told about it beforehand, I would just be angry. I mean, I was with Yuki Yuna, because it looked like it was shaping up to be something interesting. I liked some of the ideas that they had going on there. And then they just didn't follow through with it. I'm like, why did you do that? They're like, what a cop-out. It's like you can't ride on Madoka Magica's coattails like that with everyone, you know, losing in a way at the end. And just say, oh, I fixed it. I believed hard enough in our friendship and everything's better now. Like, what? As a mecha fanboy, I love Pacific Rim. It was everything I wanted. Haven't seen the second one and I don't want to. Yeah, I haven't seen the second one either. It's not by Del Toro, so it's like I kind of don't have an interest in it because he wasn't really like on the project. I get like, was it John Boyega like kind of pulled it out of production hell, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of commendable, but I wanted more, you know, I wanted more Del Toro. That, and from what I heard, just like the graphics and stuff like that just do not live up to the same standard as the first one. Ooh, that was scary. That was very scary. I mean, I was excited when they announced the sequel, but that was back when, like I said, Del Toro was still working on it, and then after it kind of fell off the shelf and no one cared about it, it's like, oh, okay, and I just kind of stopped caring too much about it, so them trying to bring it back, it's like, not gonna be the same thing. Okay, let's try training just directly with cast form and see how that goes. Because everyone else, well, I guess our Vibrava is a bit underleveled, but it's gonna take fucking forever for this cast form to get up to the level I want him at. What is his leveling rate even? I mean, we're ending here soon anyway, but medium fast? That doesn't feel. I mean, I guess he was at level 25 when we took him out, and that wasn't that long ago. To finish off the mess that is Love, the anime I've mentioned are alternate stories. The main one is even stranger. It started off as a typical visual novel romance, and then the beta invade at the end. Then there's this plan to relocate humans to Alpha Centauri, and the main guy from the story wakes up and thinks it was a dream, but it was really time. Ooh, time travel. No. I really don't like things that deal with time travel. Mainly because I overthink them, and then I just get annoyed when they blow up their fucking timelines. And I know I've talked about this one before, but it's like the one that got me like the most annoyed was actually Meet the Robinsons by Disney. And I brought Meet the Robinsons up before because it was that movie that got me into Half-Life, and that got me into Portal just because of like association of the hat being able to take over people like the headcrabs do in Half-Life. But it's like they blow up their timeline so many times in the last 5 minutes of the movie. It's like none of this would technically happen because you just rendered everything that led up to this point, well, pointless. And this isn't like alternate timeline Dragon Ball Z-esque stuff. This all happens on the same looping timeline. It's like, no, fuck this noise. I remember being in high school and ranting about it, and I was like, just watch it, it's a movie. It's like, no! I can't just ignore it. It's there in my face. I mean, I can enjoy stuff like Back to the Future just fine. But it's like there's just certain time travel stuff that just kind of annoys me. And it's better if I just stay away from it so I don't get stuck in that loop of being angry all day because they blew up their timeline fucking again. I think one of the Futurama movies did a time travel thing too, but that one I didn't mind. But they're usually a bit more aware of the consequences of their time travel, and they usually state the rules of it pretty often, at least when it happens in that series. Oops. So I don't mind Futurama's time travel all that much, but it's like a lot of things people don't think about it. And again, you're not really supposed to. You're just supposed to sit there and watch it. But I just can't help it. So I tend to avoid things with time travel. Sometimes I can't, like in the Avengers, because they do that there, but you know, time travel just gets messy. So I think playing with it is just a dangerous thing. It's like, yeah, it's fun to think about it, but then when you think too hard about it, you realize you're just going to create all these stupid paradoxes, and then I'm just going to get mad. I actually remember my friend, she suggested I play Chrono Trigger. She's like, oh, it has time travel in it. She's like, I know how you feel about time travel, but I think they handle it really well. I'm like, okay. To add on to my list of recommendations to you, I recommend the game Radiant Historia. It handles time travel and alternate timelines in a really cool way. I think I have that game. I think was it on the PlayStation 2? Or is it a newer game? They have multiple games, don't they? Wasn't there? If I don't have it, it's on my list. I might be thinking of a different game that has a similar title. I think it's a DS game. Okay, I'm thinking of another game that has a similar title. That was on the PS2. I just don't remember which game that was. Let's go check my game list. This one. One of these days I'm actually going to get the console game list up down below in case you guys want certain console games streamed so we can test out my HDMI or my converter thingy. Let's see. What one am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Radiata Stories, or however you say that. R-A-D-I-A-T-A. That's what I was getting it confused with. Oh shit, this is not a good idea. We didn't heal, and we're just gonna constantly get turned into water typing because of the rain. Chrono Trigger is a very, very solid game, but its timeline continuity is iffy. The main reason for that is the fact that different people design different parts of the game, not necessarily led by the game's director. It can get muddy. Oops. Well, that's still good to know. I mean, I'm still interested in it either way. Again, though, it's an RPG, and RPGs take up so much time. I know it's not the same as, like, a more open-world RPG, but I also get so distracted in RPGs. But I just know I've had people recommend it to me, like, on multiple occasions. But that's good to know in case I go in and I start, like, trying to line stuff up. I'm like, hold on a second. Again, I know you're not supposed to think about it too hard, but it's like when you put the pieces in front of me, I'm gonna start thinking too hard about it. It's just how I'm wired. Chrono Trigger is a pretty short game, actually. Oh. I don't actually know if I have any copies of it. I know it's on my collection list, I just don't know if I've picked up any of them because it's a fairly popular game. It's hard to find it at a decent price. Hey, Hostile 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Thank you for the follow. Radiant Historia, though, deals with two timelines that are invariably connected. You can travel back and forth between them, and the actions of one will affect the actions of another. It's really cool. Oh! I do like the sound of that. I feel like it's on my list if I don't have it already. I didn't check and see if I have it yet. Yeah. just the regular DS? No, I don't have it yet, but I would bet that it's on my game list. If not, I will add it to my game list, my wish list, my scary wish list that everyone says I shouldn't have, but I do, because I like video games. Oh, yep, it's on there. I just don't have it yet. We'll just bold that, so I'll keep an eye out for it. Yeah, and I don't have any of the ported versions of Chrono Trigger yet, either. They're on my list, just haven't got to it. Wait, what's the difference between the 3D, I mean the DS version of it and the 3D, the perfect chronology version on the 3DS? Is that just like a port for it? Chronologically. Chronology. I said it right the first time. Yeah, is this one just a port? Expanded 3DS port of the original game. That will contain a great deal of added gameplay, story content, updated presentation, and new ways to experience the adventure. So yeah, it's just an updated port for the 3DS. I need to update these game lists because I haven't updated them in a while, but that should be on here too, is it not? Nope, I have both of them on here. If you're wondering why I would have redundant games on my game list, it's because I'm a stupid kind of collector that likes to have redundant games. Oh, Forte, hi there, this is Abigail. How are your Pokemon holding up? Mine just won a battle. My Magnemite was spectacular, I must say. I wish I could have shown you. See you again. Yeah, okay. Okay, this last battle, and then we're gonna go save and call it for the night. SNES and PS1 emulation for Chrono Trigger are quite accessible. I wouldn't be against helping you out. If you have a Wii, that'd be super easy to mod and play them on too. Wii's make great emulation boxes. I do have a Wii. I have all my old systems. Again, like I just said, I'm a weirdo game collector. Of course, the PS1 version of it actually isn't that hard to come by. You see those ones at used game shops all the time. I know emulation is nice and all, but it's like, I'm one of those people, like if I have a copy of the game, I would try and actually play it that way. Because I'm weird. I don't have one of those weirdo walls of video games just for show. It's because I want to play them. Of course, the last couple of games I've bought have been fucking Naruto games because I collect trash anime games. Oh. A Naruto game here and there isn't bad. They at least have Kakashi in it, and that's all I care about. Ow. Missed my mouth with that Malteser and smacked myself in the tooth. That hurt. Fuck. We'll have to see though. One of the next games that I'm playing whenever I get a spot open though is going to be Sonic Adventure 2, considering I took that spot up with Pokemon Shield. Because I want to play Sonic Adventure 2. Even though I've already played Sonic Adventure 2 more than I really need to. Anyway. We're gonna save and I'm gonna call it for the night. I gotta get back to work in and be a responsible person and do work. You can play PS1 games with emulators and just use a PS3 or PS4 controller connected to your PC. No, but if I have a PlayStation 1 and the disc and this converter that I bought, I would like to use the converter that I bought and haven't used. Anyway, we will talk about that kind of stuff later. We should be back on Friday for a more Deadly Premonition, though there's talk of me and my sister getting together with our cousins to go see Frozen 2, but I haven't heard any more on that, so I have no idea what's going on. I'll keep you guys updated. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I know the last couple of Pokemon Nuzlocke streams have been kind of boring because it's just been grinding and me ranting about nothing. But that's what we do here, is nothing. Anyway, I appreciate you guys coming in and keeping me company. It helps quell the madness when I'm alone. Sorry. I'm not trying to be weird and edgy, that's just how I come off, I guess. I don't know, I'm sorry. Anyway, I'll see you guys on Friday or whenever. Don't forget about the socials and the YouTube and all that fun stuff. I have to say this just because I have to say this. Not really, but you guys know what I mean. Anyway, until then, have a good night. Take care, all that fun stuff. Okie dokie. Bye.